I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center has downgraded the forecast from a tsunami warning to a tsunami advisory.
Hawaii Department of Defense Adjutant General Stephen Logan, after a long night of worry about waves triggered by one of the most powerful earthquakes ever recorded off the Russian coast, a magnitude 8.8.
The worst for Hawaii is now behind us, which is just a sigh of relief to start off the day. With that said, high water definitely recorded. The highest water rise recorded in northwest Maui at 5.7 feet.
Fox weather meteorologist Britta Merwin.
But this is a series of waves and ebbs and flows. We don't have the all clear given yet by the Tsunami Center.
And there are still tsunami alerts also on the California coast with small waves detected. That quake is the most powerful one since the 2011 tsunami disaster in Japan. It was near Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula where there was flooding reported. And speaking of Russia, President Trump's deadline for leader Vladimir Putin to stop the war in Ukraine is down to 9 days.
Now it's 7,000 people are dying a week. Mostly Ukrainian and Russian soldiers.
The president on Air Force One flying back from Scotland. He's threatening new economic sanctions and big tariffs on Russia's trading partners. In New York City, a vigil for the 4 people murdered in the shooting spree at a Manhattan high-rise building. That's a Muslim prayer for Diderul Islam, an off-duty police officer who was working security. Mayor Eric Adams called for stricter gun control.
We cannot respond to senseless gun laws through vigils. It must be responded through legislation.
As the investigation continues into the gunman Shane Tamura, who drove from Las Vegas to New York to carry out the attack that ended when he killed himself. He had a history of mental health issues and left behind a note suggesting he suffered CTE from playing football. That building is the NFL's headquarters. America's listening to Fox News.
A couple years ago, I was in the bathroom at the airport when I dropped my smartphone in the toilet. Not smart. I was multitasking when I should have been focused on the job at hand. Embarrassing, but I'm not alone. According to Google, 7 million other multitaskers accidentally dropped their phones into the bowl last year. A gentle reminder that right now you can get yourself a brand new Samsung Galaxy A36 absolutely free with a $35 plan from Pure Talk. The A36 comes with scratch-resistant Gorilla Glass and a battery that'll last all day, along with unlimited talk, text, and data on America's most dependable 5G network. In other words, it's tough and smart. Something to think about next time you're multitasking and the necessary. Just dial pound 250, say keyword micro to get your free phone today. You can make the switch in just 10 minutes. That's pound 250. Say micro to switch to a no-nonsense smartphone and a company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Subaru of Gwinnett. You'll love the difference. The Morning Extra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. You made it to Hump Day. Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. Glad that you're here. 404-741-1230 at Extra 106.3. Across them social media platforms, Los.
Is it weird last night that after we had the massive earthquake that I spent the rest of the evening in bed trying to stay awake going, well, it's only like 2 or 3 more hours until we get a tsunami.
Yeah, right.
Okay, well, it's only like 2 more hours. And then I fell asleep. And then I woke up and said, well, it only says like 30 more minutes.
That's right. Apparently the waves are starting to roll in now on the West Coast.
Wild.
From all the way from San Diego to Port Angeles.
Do we have a number? Because I saw last night anywhere from like an 8.0 to an 8.4. Like the kind of thing that makes the world shake.
I think I saw 8.4.
Yeah.
So
that is wild.
Incredible is what it is, yeah.
Do you remember the 2004 tsunami?
Yes. The one in Japan?
No. The one in Indonesia, the one that took out 200,000 people.
Yeah. Well,
clearly you didn't, but I got you here.
Yeah. But didn't it? Anyway,
you had a Japanese tsunami that obviously damaged one of their energy plants, obviously a nuclear energy plant. But the one in 2004 was December 2004. And I remember I'd flown to Dallas. I saw a guy who was best man at my wedding, my friend John. Mm-hmm. And while we're there, we turn on the television, and it's nothing but crazy images from around, like, obviously it's like thousands of miles of area that were like devastated. And like all these different areas were getting it at different times. And so last night I was like, okay, let's see what it is. let's see how it goes. And I just remember that from 20 years ago. Yeah,
never really came in, and they're just read.
You never know.
Yeah, you don't. Absolutely, there's no way to know. But I guess they've downgraded the chances for these huge waves that, like you're describing, in Hawaii. So says Fox Weather. So hopefully that's a good thing, and they're not detecting all that. Because I do remember the visuals from any tsunami, really. And it just looks like waves that are AI made. They don't look real.
They're just dark because it's got so much crap that's churned up in it. And so yesterday,
gigantic.
Yeah, and yesterday I was just kind of like, all right, well let's see what hits Hawaii, and obviously, they're so used to when those sirens go off. All right, head, get to the mainland,
get inland.
get as far inland as you possibly can, and so they had those giant traffic jams. So that was the next human story from last night that I was trying to follow along, and then I guess it wasn't human enough. I fell asleep.
Yeah, well,
I was trying.
The Braves lost too.
Braves were done. I was like, well, okay. Oh, tsunami. All right,
here we go.
I'm here.
No, never been through a tsunami, but have been through a big hurricane on a Navy ship, and we were stationed aboard USS John F. Kennedy, and we went out to sea because hurricane weather was coming in. Hurricane was coming in. This is 99, and we go out there. And we, obviously just go around it. The beauty of a ship is you know where it is, you go around it. Problem is, there was an Italian tugboat that had a tow on the back. They didn't go around it, so we had to go into
the storm
to rescue 6 Italian sailors because the tugboat with their tow had capsized. And literally, the search and rescue swimmers went out and got them.
On a ship that size, do you feel it even when it comes to a hurricane?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was curious about that.
Definitely do. If you're just in regular steaming, not as much. But you do get used to it a little bit. Even so, it's only just once in a while you'll kind of feel something.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing was, search and rescue swimmers go out, rescue all 6 Italian sailors. One, they had to go inside because he was trapped and had broken his back.
Oh, wow.
So they had to go get him stabilized, get him back up on the ship, and then we obviously turn them over to the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard gets them to shore. And
then y'all played YMCA in the mess hall, and everybody partied with the Italians.
Let's go.
They busted out all the they had just jugs of wine.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Let's go. And made pizza and lasagna that night. But that was the only real experience I have
of that kind of weather.
Crazy. Well, I take that back. One other, USS South Carolina off the coast of France. Worst storm had been in the Mediterranean in like 20 years. We were rocking and rolling. We did like $3 million worth of damage to the ship just because of all the. They were afraid we were taking rolls at like 30 degrees, and if 34, you lose radars.
Oh wow!
So they're getting over pretty good, and we thankfully we didn't. But I'm telling you, dude, it was rough. We had to. I may have shared this before. We had to repaint all the hallways because the actual wall, the bulkhead of the wall, became the floor because the ship was rolling. So people were walking.
People were walking on it.
You'd just have footprints all up on the wall. And I had to obviously go in there and repair that and paint that up. But that's my experience out to sea in those kind of situations.
I've never been out to sea, obviously, with any of that. I did experience my first earthquake like 2 or 3 months ago.
Well, when you text me.
So when somebody tells me, oh, it's like an 8.4 in Russia, I'm like,
can you imagine?
Can imagine the damage.
Because when you text me that morning, a couple months ago, I didn't know what was. I thought the fan in the ceiling was malfunctioning,
and it was a state away.
Yeah, exactly.
And yet we felt it.
Can you imagine what it was like near the peninsula in Russia where it hit? 8.4. I mean, that is.
And the Russians aren't really big on here's all the damage.
No, yeah, they're not going to tell you much of anything. They're going to keep it as quiet as they possibly can. It's just the way that those closed societies work like that. But unreal. Are you seeing any video out there? Have you seen any pictures or anything of it? Because I've not seen anything.
There's not a ton. I mean, even good, strong 4-hour Stephanie is sending us just the only video I've really seen is from inside a Russian hospital where the surgeons kept working even though everything started shaking.
That's
the only one I've seen. Because the other images, I don't know if it's actually legitimate.
Yeah, where they came from and when they came from. Yeah, but with the surgeons not stopping, that seems like a bad choice. I'm no I'm no medical expert.
They got it shaking in there.
Dude. Scalpel. Freaking, I accidentally cut this dude's leg open. Sorry about that. Gotta sew this thing back up.
So yeah, that was last night when I wasn't bumming about Ronald Acuna Jr. leaving the game in a boot.
Yeah.
With a possible issue with his Achilles. Yeah. Then it turned into Tsunami Watch.
Yeah, exactly. It was just bad news.
I needed more human drama.
Well, that, and so the Braves going to lose, and then Jacob's team that they finished up their season last night in the playoffs. They finally got beat.
Okay.
So their season comes to an end.
Well, then it's on to the next thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You get a little tiny break and on to the next thing.
That's exactly right. So, and he watched Happy Gilmore the other night, said it was really good. I heard the guys in the office yesterday talking about it. Most everybody's giving good reports. Set a record for Netflix biggest U.S. opening weekend of all time for an original movie. 46.7 million views in 3 days.
I saw the first 10 minutes. Now, I've heard it's like two different movies. That the first part of the movie, hilarious. Last part, okay. All right, in the first 10 minutes, like they come out shooting with like every nostalgic joke possible.
Yeah.
And for that 10 minutes, I was like, okay.
All right.
Now, and then I went to go do something else.
Yeah,
but for that 10 minutes, which is the only thing I can tell you about, it was fun. It was going the right direction.
70% on Rotten Tomatoes, 61 from the critics. So,
the Adam Sandler movies are never about critic movies. Ever.
Right. And
outside of Hustle or what is it? Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems, which I watched. I didn't like it one. I
hear that's a hard watch because of how like tense it is.
Yeah, it just wasn't my thing. But it's funny you bring that up about not being critically acclaimed. Right, it's a slapstick comedy. It's what it's supposed to be. I mean, it's never been like a Oscar winner.
I wasn't planning on the work of art. I wasn't like, this is gonna be the next version of No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, right. But my wife, when I brought it up last night, she was like, well, I just don't know how good that's going to be. And I was like, okay, well, but the first one wasn't meant to be very good. I mean, nobody expected when you went into Happy Gilmore the first time that it was going to be the greatest masterpiece you've ever seen. It just turned out to be really funny, and it turned into a cult classic.
All right, Billy Madison, to me, outside of a couple parts, like the Steve Buscemi, people I need to kill, and putting the lipstick on. There's not a lot in that movie that stands up. Like 30 years later.
I love it.
Happy Gilmore does. Happy Gilmore, the physical comedy, because it's a sport, it's golf, it doesn't change a ton. The Bob Barker scene entirely is ridiculous and hilarious.
Right.
The fact that you have a friend, a mentor who had his hand bitten off by a crocodile, it's like there's so much there that's just funny.
Standing in front of the pitching machine.
Yeah, to get ready for hockey season.
Oh, it hurts.
Okay, there's a lot of physical comedy that's very funny there. Whereas Billy Madison, I mean, it starts off with, Dirty Magazine Day. And you're just looking over at him and obviously, like Norm Macdonald, who's just not doing a whole lot, just there to glom on.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
If you rewatch it, it does not work the same way. Now, there are portions that are funny, but again, like I know listening to Adam Sandler, he's done interviews about it. They were worried about doing a remake or another version of Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield.
Okay.
So that's where they're like, let's take it way, way away from that.
And they did.
Let's make sure this guy is so close to being like borderline, he shouldn't even be in school.
Right, yeah. Dude, and then you take it to, the next stuff that he did. With like all the vampire movies. I never saw any of the cartoon ones that he did. Was it
Hotel Transylvania? My kids are into it. They're fun.
And they're good.
Fun. Yeah, they're fun.
Those are the ones that I've always thought maybe I'll go back and watch it.
It sounds like Adam Sandler being a vampire and he's Dracula.
That's great.
Like the entire time you're like, that's Adam Sandler.
But although Mr. Deeds, I loved Mr. Deeds.
Mr. Deeds is fun.
So good. What's the one where he has the Big Daddy? Oh, I thought that was really
Big Daddy's fine.
Yeah, I love those movies.
One that wasn't supposed to be that slapstick but is still funny, Anger Management.
So good.
Okay, that's a funny movie.
It is so good.
There's little things that run like that's funny. Yeah, of course.
Had a good run.
I mean, it's the reason why he now has his own production company.
Happy Madison.
And all they do is work with your buddies. Like, who do you want to? Why do you think that Rob Schneider shows up in every single Adam Sandler movie at some point?
Yeah.
Like
Because
he is in Happy Gilmore 2. This was another moment where I was just walking through the living room, and when Happy goes to his happy place, remember, like in the original movie, and it's
grandma in the white dress,
right? And it's his girlfriend. And in this case, it's Rob Schneider on a tricycle yelling, "You can do it," which is such a callback to The Waterboy.
Yeah. So good. Dude, 50 First Dates, that's another one.
Yeah.
That was so good. That one, I had to tell
It's
you,
a cute
man,
movie. It was fun.
that was one, if it's on, I'm watching it. Like, if you go across it, I love it because of the Rob Schneider character.
It's an Adam Sandler movie you can actually take a date to.
Yeah, if you could. Yeah.
Because there's not a whole lot of... And don't take them to Spanglish.
No.
Take them to 50 First Dates.
Yeah, there you go.
Spanglish, you'll leave going like, what did I just watch?
I don't remember. I remember watching it. I just don't remember much about it.
It was his delving into, critical acclaim movie.
Oh, okay, yeah. Before Uncut Gems.
Yeah.
That was the early test.
It was let's give this a try.
Dipping the toe in the water. God,
At least he never went Jim Carrey. Like, Jim Carrey got away from those roles and wanted to be more of an important actor. And then after, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yeah.
All right, now he starts doing a few more of those, like Truman Show. Truman Show is not supposed to be like a funny movie.
Yeah,
like there's funny parts, but it's supposed to be like a character study. After that, then he basically falls off the map, and now he's doing Sonic the Hedgehog movies because he needs to make money.
Yeah, and he's probably getting paid pretty well. I'd sign up to do it, but it's not like what he could have done had he not gone off the deep end.
At least Adam Sandler stayed and made sure it's like I'm in the pocket. I'm staying right in the pocket.
It's crazy. And if you look at the two, I think everybody would say Jim Carrey, the more talented actor. The
physical comedy of what he was doing was hilarious during that time period.
But I would even think that people probably Adam Sandler, goofy, slaps. It's always beer jokes and pull my finger jokes. Jim Carrey's not that. He's not always been that. But
30 years later, he's winning.
Adam's still winning.
He's
That's
still
the
winning.
Point. Yeah, absolutely.
He's still making movies. He has that deal with Netflix. Now, I haven't watched them, but the movies that he does with Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, I've not seen any of those.
They are the murder mystery.
Yep.
My wife and daughters love it.
Okay.
They think that they're hilarious. They think that they're so fun. And Netflix is basically going, all right, Adam Sandler, Happy Madison will pay you this much to make us original content.
Yeah.
And so it's working.
It goes. Yeah. All those, what was the Grown Ups thing? I remember saying the first Grown Ups, I liked it. What was it? Earth-shattering good? No, but is it good enough to watch if it's on TV? Yeah, I'd do that. I never saw the 2 and 3 or anything. But,
by the way, Hustle from 2022.
Yeah.
94 on Rotten Tomatoes, and when it comes to that, now that's the audience, and then the critics are 93%.
Still, it's pretty close. But that's the one where he's the basketball agent.
He is a scout.
A scout. Okay. I don't think I ever saw that.
It's well done.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch that
Netflix.
one.
It's well done. It's a really good movie.
I need to go. And I got the email from Netflix this morning. Smokey and the Bandit and Happy Gilmore leaving this month.
We better get on it.
Well, I know. Got to watch both of those before they get out of there.
Imagine that, Jerry. He's like, man, if I don't get in Smokey and the Bandit, I don't know when I'm. Because nobody shows Smokey and the Bandit anymore, right?
Makes me want to take a run out to Texarkana.
That's right.
Get a 6-pack of banquet beer.
Eastbound and down.
See,
come on.
All those movies, Any Which Way But Loose,
dude,
Smokey and the Bandit.
Any Which Way But Loose is genius.
But all of those were the TBS specials.
Oh yeah, that they just played on a loop.
Right. And now, I don't know where you would find that.
Cannonball Run.
Again, it's all the same premise.
Yeah.
But fun movies, cool actors. It's TBS. It's the South, man.
CMT occasionally get a little run on Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh, when they're not showing Varsity Blues?
Exactly. When they're because they don't
what a great movie.
Nothing wrong with Varsity Blues, all right? We just have to wait for Moxon to give the speech again about let's be heroes.
That's right. It's so good, dude. Isn't that it had a really great soundtrack too, if I'm not mistaken. Collective Soul Run was on there, which is my favorite Collective Soul song.
Yeah, Foo Fighters.
Dude, yeah, My Hero.
Yep.
10. Give it a 10.
That's right. So good, man. That makes me want to go back. God, makes me want to go back and watch a bunch of these movies that I hadn't seen in a while.
Go see Smokey and the Bandit and then Varsity Blues.
Dude.
You can tell your wife, Tug, what are you doing? Watching Varsity Blues. Smokey and the Bandit's on after that.
And then I'm watching Happy Gilmore.
A lot of wasted whipped cream after that movie came out.
Yeah.
Trying to recreate.
I'm telling you, she did a lot of stuff after that in network television. Never was going to live down the whipped cream bikini.
No, yeah, it's good stuff there.
And that stuff doesn't work in real life the way it does in the movies.
So imagine that.
Yeah, I was like, that's totally fake. That does not stay on like that.
Exactly. The fact that you tried it's great, though. All right, well, we continue. What the media wants you to hear. A comparison next on Xtra 106.3.
When conflicts escalate around the world, don't let the mainstream media scare you into believing their narrative. Get it right with Atlanta's only conservative voice. And trust the Morning Xtra, Glenn Beck, Clay and Buck, The Kimmer Show, and our entire lineup to give it to you straight. Don't buy the fear. Just keep it here. Xtra 106.3 FM and the all-new Xtra app.
Hey, it's Los. Let's talk about True Prep. Now, yeah, last night there was some crazy earthquake somewhere in the world, and then you had the hurricane, or then you had the tsunami that you had to worry about in different places around the world. Now, that's not going to happen to us, I think. But that's why I prep. And that's why I tell you about True Prep, 1000 Cobb Parkway in Marietta. I've been through some crazy weather stuff. That's why I have freeze-dried food, and I have other supplies just in case. Maybe you're an outdoor enthusiast. You like hitting those trails. You like getting out there, but you also want to do it safely. Well, that's where True Prep comes into play for you. Or one of the big aspects that continues to grow is being prepared in case you ever have a crazy situation in your home. True Prep has lethal and non-lethal devices, and does, when it comes to purchasing that gun, they have the best prices, and they have outstanding prices on ammunition. Plus, they then back that up with some of their workshops coming up on August 3rd and also coming up on August 24th. They have their first time gun buyers workshop. This is where they help set you up in terms of what's the firearm that you're planning on? What are you planning to use it for? Are you planning on using it in your home? Are you planning on using this to carry personally? This is what they work with you on so that you're not only safe, but you're legal, and then you're storing that firearm properly. This is where True Prep has you covered all the way around, no matter what your needs are or what kind of prep you're looking to do. Go to truprep.com. That's truprep.com. Prepare today for a worry-free tomorrow with True Prep.
Join A Second Chance Bail Bond CEO Daniel Madelon and host Tug Coward for the weekly radio show Back Your Blue. They will highlight special initiatives, criminal justice programs, and community events aimed at keeping our communities safer. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to learn some good news about and from the law enforcement and justice communities. Tune in on Saturdays or catch up on all past episodes wherever you get your podcasts or at thepodcastpark.com.
No one plans on going to jail, but when it happens, it's important that you know who to call. Call A Second Chance Bail Bonds, where we believe everyone deserves a second chance. Whether your loved one's been arrested in Cherokee, Clayton, or any of the other metro Atlanta counties in between, A Second Chance Bail Bonds works fast to help expedite release within hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
Hi, I'm Chris Lalamia, owner of the Trusted Toolbox. Got a to-do list a mile long? No problem. We've got the ultimate solution, our Handyman for a Day program. Here's how it works. You get a skilled handyman dedicated to knocking out your honey-do list. Paint touch-ups, drywall repairs, door adjustments, and much more, all done in one day. Call us now before the rush for your Handyman for a Day, and call us at 770-623-3097 or visit us at thetrustedtoolbox.com. One call, one handyman, one day, the Trusted Toolbox.
There's a new vibe in Tucker, and it's teeing off at Heritage Golf Links. After a multi-million-dollar renovation, the course has never looked better. From pristine new greens and bunkers to the stunning 11,000 square foot putting green, Heritage Golf Links is ready to impress, challenge, and deliver an unforgettable round you'll come back for again and again. And when the sun goes down, the game keeps going. Our one-of-a-kind night range is lit up and open Friday and Saturday nights until 10 p.m., so your swing can shine under the lights. So, whether you're practicing, playing, or just enjoying the full-service bar and grill, Heritage Golf Links is the perfect place for golfers who want more than just a round. Heritage is a destination and a better golf experience. Reserve your tee time at heritagegolflinks.com. That's heritagegolflinks.com.
Located just minutes from downtown Atlanta, Heritage Golf Links is easily accessible from I-285 and I-85.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Wednesday, July 30th. Atlanta-based Norfolk Southern Rail Company announced a historic merger with Union Pacific. The $250 billion merger marks the first transcontinental railroad in America. Norfolk Southern employs over 16,000 workers with over 3,000 in their Atlanta headquarters. 15 Georgia hospitals have been ranked among the highest in the country, according to U.S. News & World Report. Emory University Hospital ranked the highest from Georgia, followed by Emory St. Joseph's and Piedmont, Atlanta. Rankings were based on patient outcomes, including survival, complications, and readmission rates. And U.S. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene announced she will not enter the Georgia governor's race, citing concerns about the state of affairs in Georgia. Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones and Attorney General Chris Carr remain the only Republicans who have announced their intentions to run for the GOP candidate in next year's election. Today's weather, mostly cloudy. That'll keep the temperatures around 90 degrees. So we've got a small chance for thunderstorms this afternoon and evening. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
Donald Trump is so wise in what he says. He's never in those moments where he lets the media do a gotcha because he's prepared. He's not asleep like the last administration, and he has the ability to reason and talk on the fly. That's the reason he does so many press conferences that aren't scripted, that aren't scheduled, just stands there and takes questions. When he's done his cabinet meetings, he invites the press in, and they ask all the cabinet members cabinet members questions, and then they ask Donald Trump questions, and he's always got the answer.
You get an unprecedented amount of access.
The most transparent administration in my lifetime.
As far as getting answers to things you're asking about right then and there. And oftentimes, the part that can be a little bit frustrating is that the media will start asking about subjects that really aren't in play. So if you're meeting with the British Prime Minister and you're talking about getting these deals done, a natural line of questioning would be talking about like the EU, talking about what this is going to look like, talking about censorship in Britain. And again, all those do show up. Like he jokes around about that. But someone decided,
hits him with a thumb.
I'm going to drop in the Epstein files question.
On the Epstein files, or your name has not appeared in the Epstein files. But doesn't the AG have to tell you if your name?
Well, I haven't been overly interested in it. It's a hoax that's been built up way beyond proportion. I can say this: those files were run by the worst scum on earth. They were run by Comey. They were run by Garland. They were run by Biden and all of the people that actually ran the government, including the auto pen. Those files were run for 4 years by those people. If they had anything, I assume they would have released it.
Yeah, they would have.
It's pretty direct.
All the way back to 2016, they would have.
Just letting y'all know. Yeah. So there's that, right? Now, you're going to hear this next piece of audio. Again, same presser just sitting there talking. And he is asked about Epstein Island. And he points out, I've never been there.
And there's not even an accusation that he's been there that I know of.
Well, that's been the hope of the left.
Yeah.
The real moment, like when it was the flight logs don't mean anything. Because Stephen Hawking's on the flight logs. Okay, Stephen Hawking has been unable to move for the better part of, about 30 years before he died. All right? I don't think he was going down to Epstein Island and breaking it down and partying and being a pedophile.
It just seems like it would be
completely not possible.
Impossible.
Right. It's not possible. So that's the gotcha moment. It's like, if we can just find out, if we can just attach him to Epstein Island. And Donald Trump, once again, what he tells us, it was 27 times for Bill Clinton. Now, as of yesterday, he was like, I think it's 28 times. Like, the number just keeps growing about how many times Bill Clinton went to Epstein Island. And again, all of them can be legitimate. Not alleging that he did anything, but that's the gotcha. They want there to be a trip to Epstein Island. That's what this has come down to. So I want you to listen to Donald Trump, what he's going to say here. Then it's going to transition over to Wolf Blitzer from CNN. And this is how CNN broke in with this press conference and what they did.
And by the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. I never went to the island, but Larry Summers, I hear, went there. He was the head of Harvard. And many other people that are very big people. Nobody ever talks about them. I never had the privilege of going to his island. And I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island. Yeah.
President Trump says he never visited Jeffrey Epstein's private island. Listen.
I never had the privilege of going to his island.
Oh, yeah.
And I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island.
No mention of Bill Clinton in there. No mention of the lead up.
And notice how
just to the jump
I never
cut,
had the privilege.
Never had the privilege to try and build it up as something that it's not.
This thing is dying at death. I told you by Monday, like we've been on MSNBC for now 2 days straight, and there is nothing that they're doing on Epstein Island because of what Donald Trump did on Friday and what he's continued to do. They're like, we got to get off this. It's like, it's not going to be good. They've been told by their masters, you got to stop.
Backfire. We've got to pivot. It's no different than the mugshot, right? They thought for sure, we got it. We got him. And then bam, it backfires.
It's not going to work.
It isn't. And I understand why. I get it. I brought this up. This was probably last Monday when you brought up the whole thing. This is trying to separate them from their vote, from the MAGA voters. I was driving home. Mama says, I'm so tired of hearing about that. That's when I knew. That's when it solidified for me. You had brought it up, and I was like, okay, all right. And then Mama, that is like it was divine intervention. Mama, come out swinging on it.
Clay and Buck, like I said yesterday in the 2 o'clock hour, they're like, this was all designed to separate Trump from his voters. And what was my point last week? This was all designed to separate Trump from his voters, and it's not working. That the left still does not understand. The only person who can separate Trump from his voters is him. He's the only one who can do it. They can come up with story after story. And when I tell you they get like their marching orders, the plan is like, well, let's try this one. And then they all fall in line with it. And they all say the same stuff.
And why would anybody believe anything that the media tells you about Donald Trump? When have they given you one credible piece of information that you go, wow, I didn't know that, and that's something that I don't like? They've never done it. The only thing they've done is glom on to 34 felonies. They've called him Hitler for years. They were the mouthpiece for the Democrat Party. They knew exactly what was going on every stinking time, just like the piece of audio that Los played for you, the different edits and the different outlets. CNN was not going to give you the credible outlet. They were trying to paint a narrative. They were trying to make it work, though it's failed over and over and over. Why would you believe them? And I'm with you. I don't either.
So this is why they've stopped talking about it. You probably have never heard of Aaron Parnas. And he's an attorney. But he's like a young attorney, like 25 years old. You do know Harry Sisson, the guy who's paid by the DNC to...
He's their influencer.
Every day it's breaking news. He's just as bad as the Krasensteins. Both of those two little guys that are basically always told, like, here's what you got to put out there. You know, you've got to help us out on social media. They're all compensated by the DNC. Every one of them. So you would think if you've been given a talking point, then you need to put it out there, but you got to kind of do it in your own voice. Oh, no.
This copy paste.
I want you to hear this is Harry Sisson and Aaron Parnas, and this is them getting into what Trump has recently done. They aired this like 24 hours ago. And you would think in the information age, guys, give it some effort, man.
At least say it, don't read it.
At least take a listen.
Donald Trump is now calling for Kamala Harris to be prosecuted and thrown in jail. In a new statement on Truth Social, Donald Trump said, I'm looking at the large amount of money owed by the Democrats after the presidential election and the fact that they admit to paying, probably illegally, $11 million to singer Beyonce for endorsement.
They read it word for word.
It sounds just like, if you remember during, right toward the end of COVID, when all the local news stations had taken a beaten because people were like, these people have lied the whole time. And then every one of them, all these companies put out the same statement. And it didn't matter if it was the CBS affiliate in Philadelphia, the ABC affiliate in Atlanta, or the NBC affiliate in Los Angeles. And it was the same exact script. We really pride ourselves on independent journalism and telling you the truth. Word for word.
Everyone had the same hive mindset.
Everyone.
So when Donald Trump says, hey, we got to look into where this money came from because you're not supposed to be paying for endorsements, and that included pointing out a handful of news anchors saying, how did they get $20 million? And then you decided to endorse. Okay, I think we see what's going on here. To then have Aaron Parnas and Harry Sisson be given the exact same talking points. Again, what are the chances that they wrote the exact same thing about it?
0.
Okay. The obvious answer is they were given talking points by the DNC to try and fight it off because Donald Trump's probably onto something.
Yeah, of course he is. Just as an example, Dre, have you got the news station listed? This is the exact same thing, if you remember.
And Wolf,
our greatest responsibility is to serve our Treasure Valley communities, the El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
Do you see what I mean? Do you see what Los is telling you?
Exact talking points they've been given.
But and if you look, it's the same mindset for Democrats no matter what. It's, hey, here's what we think is going to move the needle. Now have everybody say it.
And so much of it is poll tested. So you have just the right wording that goes on. Now, this is where I say in the information age, pick your game up.
It's so easy.
It's so easy for us to go, oh, I heard the same thing from this person and this person and this person.
And we don't have 5 producers like Clay and Buck.
No. Yet, when it comes right down to it, it takes the internet about 1 hour to go, hey, I heard this guy say this and this guy, and I put them together and they both said the exact same thing.
Reckon why they did that.
It's so strange how they, word for word, said the exact same thing about this topic about Donald Trump. It's because they're being given a talking point. Neither one of them. Whenever you have had either one of these guys try and do something on their own, they get chewed up so quick. They'll often be talking about something where it only takes 30 seconds to go, yeah, that's not how the law applies, man. Or you don't understand how this works.
And then, if you recall, the DNC, and they probably still do it, they would send their main story, their main talking point, their main narrative point to the New York Times. That's who it went to. If it were the CIA, always goes to the Washington Post. You can follow the trail every time. And then when you'd see it in the New York Times, then you'd see it in the AJC. Then you'd see it in the Boston Herald. Then you'd see it in the LA Times. Some form of the same story, because that was how they got the message to everyone. And then you'd have Aunt Peg. I'd walk in and she would be like, she would sound just like them, like she just jumped out of an influencer ad.
She just couldn't wait. Part of the reason why I believe that they watch the stuff that the way they do, with the attention they do, is because they can't wait to regurgitate it at you.
Exactly right, dude. It would be, come in, Aunt Peg, how are you? You just attack me with it. It wouldn't be, hey, I love you. It would just be straight to the talking point.
But you could then go back to the previous night's Rachel Maddow and compare to what she said and go, that's exactly what that woman, like there was no, part of what I always talk about with our audience is if there's something we bring up and you adopt it as your own, cool. But what I'm hoping is you end up hearing something and you got that extra 5 minutes and you go, man, I want to look into that. And then you start, and so much of the time, what I really appreciate about this audience, we have people that will bring up different aspects of something we're talking about. So clearly you've been thinking about it on a deeper level than just, tell me what to think. And I love that.
Yeah, it's good.
Because so much of what happens on the other side is that hive mindset where Aunt Peg gets to the TV and she's like, when's Jen Psaki coming on? I need to know what to think here.
Just standing. Slip shoulders.
Just waiting.
Just waiting.
Like she's just sitting there. She's just plugged, got a little, cord plugged into her head. Just can't wait. Tell me what I'm supposed to say about that.
And now it will be, tell me what I'm supposed to say about Sydney Sweeney.
It's like, and I could go back and look. Like a guy I said something to on Twitter on Friday. And he's always wildly left to south there. But that's fine. Like he's not like hardcore crazy, but he gets caught up in this stuff emotionally.
Got a trace of crazy in there.
And as he's like demanding an answer to like Epstein files question, it's like, you haven't even gone on the record with this. I'm like, because I don't care, because I know what it is. And then finally, I just decided, well, listen, X is forever. Let's go search your tweets. And as it turns out, he'd only been talking about it for 2 weeks. Why?
Right. Because he'd been told to.
Because he'd been told to. He'd been told by everybody, it's the biggest thing you need to get into. And I'm willing to bet that there hasn't been anything since then because the marching orders have gone out. Stop bringing up Epstein Island. He will, Donald Trump, end up burning us with this.
Just like he does with everything.
Pushed it as far as you could, and now he's naming names, and we can't have all these names being named. These are the people that finance the DNC.
And we have no money, so we need them more than ever before because USAID is gone. But when are they going to learn? That's the question you have to ask. When are they going to learn? And the answer is never, because their emotion will not allow them to learn from the failures of 34 felonies, of mugshots, and now of Epstein Island.
He's not a difficult person to understand and to get. It's just their way of playing politics is so foreign to how the business world is run. And yeah, there's some aspects of some dirty corporate espionage that does work and will burn down a CEO.
Yeah, here and there.
But when you own the company,
it
just doesn't work. You've got to retool and rethink how you're going about this, and I don't think that they're capable of it.
The thing I love about the Sydney Sweeney ad is now that they've got something to focus on other than Trump.
They'll get 24 hours out of it. But once the white dudes for Kamala, once that kind of burns itself out,
which has already started.
Yeah, they're always going to be the ones behind on this because what do? They chase whatever the cat ladies are saying because they think it'll get them laid.
Which is crazy because that's what that whole ad is trying to at least bring up the idea.
I've told you before. It's like, why are always the white dudes for Kamala behind the feminists? Because as soon as they hear what the feminists say, they are there to echo it, and they think it's going to get them laid.
And what feminist is going to give you the time of day? Like, that's the whole point. They hate your guts to begin with.
You better not show any male aggression.
You better not say a word.
I'm the one who shows male aggression. I'm the one who tells you, here's how it's going to be, sister. I can fix all of this stuff for you. That other guy's going to be like, you like to have a coffee and talk about it?
Yeah, let's talk it out.
I'm here. I'll listen to you.
Gosh, can you imagine trying to just have a relationship with a feminist? Because I can't. I can't imagine what anger and what hoops you have to run through just to be acquainted with them.
But there's something different. And I don't want to draw this line. In the way that there's like Republicans and then there's obviously there's Trump. There are women that are quality feminists who are like, they're fighting for the female cause and here's what we want. We want equal pay and we want the feminazis are nuts. They're the ones that see this stuff no matter what all the time. It's, how am I being wronged? How are we going to get it? I'm going to cut all my hair off. I'm going to wear a vagina hat.
I'm going to not shave my armpits.
Yeah, there's plenty of women out there that are all about, hey, this cause of women without doing all the crazy stuff, who run their own businesses and are like, I do it as well as a man does. She just doesn't have to tell you about it all the time. She already knows.
She already knows. See, that's the difference, though. Can you imagine? That's what I'm saying. Having to be acquainted with someone like you laid out.
I am much closer to being a feminist than the feminazis are.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they're
much closer.
They're way out in left field with a football bat.
Right.
They're never going to make sense. No, I agree with that. I mean, look at me. I don't even have daughters that I'm here like promoting. Hey, girls need to have their ability to play ball, and boy, I'm closer to a feminist than the crazy.
This is why you're the Meemaw of Atlanta radio.
And everybody loves their Meemaw.
You love your Meemaw.
Yes, you do, and I'm glad to be your Meemaw as long as I can be. 6 o'clock hour brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett on Extra 106.3. When we come back, Dems just love the 20%, which is not coincidental that is the same as their approval rating. We'll talk about that next on Extra 106.3.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Wednesday, July 30th. The Atlanta Braves lost last night 9-6 to the Kansas City Royals in KC, but more concerning was the injury to All-Star Ronald Acuna Jr. He is headed to the injured list with right Achilles tightness after leaving the game and exiting the stadium in in a boot. Acuna will be reevaluated today. As for the rubber match, that is going to be a first pitch set for 2:10. You can hear that game on our sister station's brand new app, 680 The Fan. From the NFL, the shooter that targeted the league headquarters on Monday claimed to have CTE. 4 people, including an off-duty officer, were killed in that attack. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
This is Tom with the Honest Car Guy.
Hey, what's with all this honesty stuff?
We help you buy your next pre-owned car or truck honestly.
How honestly?
We guarantee that each vehicle we sell will come with a bill of sale showing what we paid for the vehicle. You'll pay what we pay, plus an honest fee. Guaranteed.
No gimmicks or tricks?
Nope.
Man, this sounds like a new way to buy a car.
Get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Comfort that shows up day in, day out. That's what I want when I get home. Cozy Earth nailed comfort with their bamboo sheets. These sheets are game changers. They are incredibly soft, they're breathable, and temperature regulating. Tanya sleeps hot. I sleep cold. Somehow or another, both of us have found a way to sleep perfectly. It's really like magic. Cozy Earth's bamboo sheets wick away heat and moisture, helping you stay cool and cozy all night long. And their everywhere pant, next level. It's the go-to for everything. Travel, work, chasing the kids, or doing nothing at all. They're clean cut, super stretchy, and unbelievably comfortable. Refined comfort meets real-world performance. Everyone I know who's tried Cozy Earth is hooked. Seriously, you'll wish you switched sooner. And there's no risk. 100-night sleep trial, 10-year warranty. Try them, wear them, love them, or send them back. But you're not going to, because they're great. CozyEarth.com. Use the promo code BECK for up to 40% off the softest bedding, bath, and apparel. Built for real life. Made to keep up with yours. Cozy Earth. You can thank me later and tell them I sent you.
I'm Ashley DeVorkin with the Fox Celebrity Profile with Adam Sandler, Julie Bowen, and Christopher McDonald of the long-awaited comedy sequel, Happy Gilmore 2.
There's some chaos in his own life this time, and he's just trying to get through it, and then he's going to let it out on the golf course in the most positive way he can.
I said, thank God we're going to make one. Yes, we're going to make a sequel. That was like that, because I've been campaigning it for a long time.
Sandler's daughters are part of the cast, too, and he shared advice he's given them as they continue to build careers in this business.
You've raised them right.
Be nice to everybody.
Be nice to everybody.
In the crew.
Like, don't just be nice to the fancy people.
The crew is all you got. Yeah. Anybody who's making too much cash, you can give them a snap.
As Gilmore goes to his happy place for his golf game in the movie, the star shared what their happy place is.
Getting a good haircut.
There you go.
When I get the perfect haircut, I'm in the best mood.
If it's not with my kids, I get this great dog. She sleeps with me every night.
What's the dog's name?
Her name's Gertrude.
Gertrude lays in the bed with you?
She goes under the car. She's one of those little burrowers.
Oh, down by the feet?
Down by the feet.
Ashley DeVorkin, Fox News.
It's July 30th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today is National Cheesecake Day, the perfect dessert at the end of a big meal. The history of the cheesecake dates back to ancient Greece, as the sweet treat was fed to athletes. A typical cheesecake recipe uses cream, cottage, or ricotta cheese, along with sugar and eggs. After that, you can let your imagination run wild on other ingredients you wish to use. So whether your style of cheesecake is New York, Chicago, or Philly, just remember to include your favorite toppings. Also on this date, in 1965, President Lyndon Johnson signed Medicare into law. The program would officially go into effect the following year. And in 1975, Teamsters President Jimmy Hoffa disappeared in suburban Detroit. He would be declared legally dead in 1982, and many believe his body is buried somewhere in the parking lots of the home stadium of the New York Giants in New Jersey. I'm Tushar Saxena, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's Pete, and here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
Look at the poor Democrat Party. For years, they told us nothing could be done about illegal immigration unless they passed some more bills in Congress. How long did it take Trump to put the lie to that? 2 days.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
You have those people in your life that just cannot get out of their own way. They just make the wrong decision every time. Now, I can say my cousin Curtis is that, which he has an element of it, don't get me wrong.
But he's living right.
But he's doing the best he can, and then if you need a shirt off your shirt, he'll get someone's and give it to you.
Like, there are self-destructive people that no matter what you do to help them, it just always goes the same way.
Yeah. And sometimes it even develops later in life. A dear friend of mine, it happened later in life, and it was just bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. And you try to help, and you try to help, and you just can't. There's just no way. That's the Democrat Party.
We took the scenic route, and I liked it.
Oh, but
I was thinking about like how many self-destructive people do I know?
Right.
And then it turns around to, oh, yeah, considering that at one point you were a pretty major party and you're now sitting right around 19% approval.
And they take every decision and shoot themselves in the foot. They're like, here's a gun. It's loaded. There's my foot. How about I shoot it?
Yesterday was a great example of this for all of the Sydney Sweeney talk. How could you ever come down on the 18% that's like, that's Nazi propaganda rather than that's a hot girl in a jeans ad?
Yeah.
Like, I think that if I said, hey, if I was to show you it look, it's on TV. Do you consider this to be a hot girl in a jeans ad or Nazi propaganda? And there's gonna be in that room of 10 people, probably about 9 of them, they're going to say, hot girl in a jeans ad. Somebody's going to go, well, I think it might be Nazi propaganda.
It's like Riley Gaines just shared this. One of these is considered beautiful by liberals. The other is Sydney Sweeney. And it's the lady man.
Yeah, it's our former...
Whatever
whatever he was dressed up as.
But wore an admiral's...
The administration telling us how here's what you got to do to get healthy.
Right, and wear an admiral's uniform, though they did nothing to get to that level of respect. But anyway, that's why, right there. They can't even tell you what a woman is, much less what a beautiful woman is.
So I've got this piece of audio for you. Good old Scott Jennings from CNN. And poor Scott Jennings, when you see the numbers on CNN, the only reason I think they do any sort of numbers is because of him, but they're not significant. So it's like he's the star, he's the big fish, tiny pond.
Well, we probably give him more viewers and listeners than he gets.
We give him a lot of love because he's awesome. Just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So he appeared on the podcast, the PBD podcast, and he started talking about why Democrats, how they've ended up in this position, and how it's not helping them long term.
Democrats, because of the Biden presidency, because they lied about Joe Biden's condition, because they lied to the country about the inflationary impacts of his policies, have dug themselves the deepest hole they've ever been in the history of their party. That's number one. Number two, cultural radicalism. I mean, when the hills you're willing to die on are boys and girls sports, paying for transgender surgeries of inmates, which Kamala Harris had in the last election. When you're willing to die on these hills, when you're willing to go and say Maryland man unfairly deported back to his home country, I mean, when you're willing to die on all these 80-20 hills, eventually your approval rating will wind up, I'm no mathematician, but around 20.
Yeah, exactly.
They're getting there. And so this hole they've dug themselves in, like if I can't trust you not to put a boy in my daughter's locker room, why would I talk to you about taxation policy?
Amen.
Or inflation or tariffs or anything else? You're trying to put a boy in my girl's locker room.
That's right.
Why?
So I have this meme that I'd saved on my phone for the show maybe like 3 weeks ago. And then I just never got around to using it, didn't have any use for it, and so I deleted it on my phone. And it's actually listed from July 4th. It says, the hill the Democrats have chosen to die on. Gun grabbing, abolishing ICE, sanctuary cities, transgender children, no voter ID to vote, defunding the police, defending illegal immigration, DEI, critical race theory, abortion on demand, men and women's sports, defending fraud, waste, and abuse in government, student loan forgiveness, and then no cash for bail. These are all at the most 80-20. At the most of those are like maybe best. 15 or 10.
Yeah, you're not getting above 20% of people agreeing with that nonsense.
Scott Jennings just laid it out for you. Like, if you keep arguing these, this is how you become this small of a percentage. To the point where when I have anyone ever hit me up on X, and listen, I'm typically pretty friendly about this stuff, it's not me even worth arguing with you about. Because you are so small, so minuscule, it's not worth my time. And why am I going to argue with somebody who's siding with a 15% issue?
And someone that you can't reason with.
Of course not.
That's the biggest thing. If you're choosing the side of any of those things that Los read off, you're unreasonable. You're beyond repair. You're beyond common sense. Common sense doesn't apply to you or any way you think or anything you do.
That's all that Scott Jennings is pointing out to you.
Dude, just be common sense.
It's like you went down these roads. You've chosen to be this far out there. and
it's reflected in your polling.
And then the news media sits there and tells you that somehow you're on the right side of history and that you're part of the moral majority. No, you're just wrong.
And that's not going to change. We're not going back to 2020 where people could be convinced or shamed into whatever the Democrat talking point was at the moment.
What do you mean you don't agree with DEI? I don't. I never did.
Yes.
In fact, in my house, I was crapping on it 5 years ago, 4 years ago, to the point where my wife is like, are you sure you want to say that sort of stuff in public? Like, hell yeah, put the mic in my face.
Absolutely. Give me the chance. Absolutely right. Because it's nonsense. But then people were so scared. People were so under the thumb of the government and the thumb of Democrat policy and politics that they were convinced or scared to say the right thing.
This moral minority is what it is. And it's not even the fact that they're moral. They're trying to reinvent what reality is by their own standards, what goes on in their own head. Again, give me 100 people in a room. Is this a jeans ad with a hot girl, or is this Nazi propaganda? And I will tell you, I'm willing to bet 90% of them are like, that's a jeans ad with a hot girl. There'll be 10 weirdos that are like, well, hold on, let me take off my vagina hat so I can see it better.
Exactly.
I think it might be Nazi propaganda.
That's what it has to be. I mean, come on. She has blonde hair. She has blue eyes. How could it be? I mean, they've been so used to telling you that really obese women were, healthy and beautiful.
And then they're like, and now let's stick her with GLPs.
Exactly, and do ads for it. It'll be great.
Fat's wonderful, but we have a way to fix your fat.
But you're right.
It'll make money for us all the way around.
Right, but I thought it was healthy and beautiful. Why would you need to fix it?
Eat our fat food, then plug yourself with our drugs.
Yeah.
Healthy at any size.
Yeah, right. So crazy. Oh, my God. Trump let Hillary off the hook last time. But this time around, he feels very different about it. Next on Extra 106.3.
Stream Atlanta's only conservative voice anywhere you go with the Extra 106.3 app. Now equipped with Apple CarPlay. That means you'll always have Extra's crystal clear HD stream right on your dashboard no matter where you are. Download the all-new Extra 106.3 app now and start streaming.
Make going back to school a little more fun as the Brewers and Marlins come to Truist Park August 4th through the 10th. The week includes the Ronaldo Lopez bobblehead giveaway presented by Coca-Cola on August 4th, followed by the Ronald Acuna Jr. Funko Pop giveaway presented by Xfinity on August 6th. And new this year is the Batman Ticket Package, which includes a Batman bobblehead and a game ticket. Visit Braves.com/promos to purchase your tickets. Atlanta Braves baseball. We are Braves country.
My name is Patrick, and I'm the Military Outreach Manager at the Warrior Alliance. I served in the U.S. Army as an airborne ranger and deployed to several combat zones in support of the global war on terror. Veterans bring excellence through our work ethic, skills, and civic duty. However, transitioning to civilian life can be difficult, as we all share a loss of purpose when leaving the military. Returning veterans have earned and deserve our support so they can thrive on their journey home. The Warrior Alliance understands the challenge and is helping warriors navigate to success after service. Join us in changing thousands of lives for the better. Donate today at thewarrioralliance.org.
Fox Country.
I'm Michelle Polino. Luke Bryan is the latest artist to get hit by a flying object on stage. The country star and American Idol judge was performing his final song at the North Dakota State Fair Sunday when a mini plush ball was tossed and hit him mid-song. Video posted on TikTok shows the 49-year-old briefly stepping back before shaking it off and finishing the performance without missing a beat. One fan captioned the clip, "Carried on like a champ." Another slammed the incident online, writing in part, "There's no excuse for this." Bryan joins a growing list of artists targeted on stage in recent years, most notable pop star BB Rexha, who was hit in the face with a phone in 2023. And John Michael Montgomery is going back home to play his final show. The country legend announced that his last show is scheduled for December 12th at the Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky. That's Fox Country on Fox News.
Hey, it's Flounder, and The Kimmer Show is live every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m.
Joe Biden, honestly, is now pretending that world leaders are calling him for advice.
Advice for what?
I know.
He doesn't even know how to pick up the phone.
Well, how to sleep on the beach.
He just burned his face by answering the iron.
Yeah. and then he burned the other side because they called back. Anyway.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app. The Morning Extra, every weekday morning from 6 to 10 on WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. Extra 106.3.
More waves could still be coming. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, but Hawaii may have already seen the worst of the tsunami danger.
We decided to go to elevated ground.
He and thousands of others fled coastal areas in Hawaii after a powerful earthquake off the Russian coast, the magnitude 8.8, the strongest quake anywhere in the world since the 2011 tsunami disaster in Japan.
The warning has now been lowered to a tsunami advisory. So we have enough data that shows that the largest waves associated with the tsunami have now passed over the Hawaiian Islands, and we're starting to trend downward, an important mark forward. But we have seen a lot of water. In fact, northwest Maui indicating the highest water rise with 5.7 feet.
Fox weather meteorologist Britta Merwin. There have also been tsunami alerts in parts of Alaska and the California coast with small waves detected. In New York City, a vigil last night for the 4 people murdered in a Manhattan high-rise building.
To the families of those we've lost, to the loved ones of Officer Didarul Islam, to his fellow officers, and to every New Yorker gathered here in grief.
Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch, as the investigation continues into the gunman Shane Tamura, who killed himself. He drove from Las Vegas to New York to carry out the attack, where the NFL is headquartered, leaving behind the note suggesting he had brain injuries from playing football, though he was never in the NFL. Thousands of people are out in the streets of Birmingham, England, Ozzy Osbourne's hometown, paying their respects to the rock legend.
Fans began gathering by Birmingham's Black Sabbath Bridge hours before the funeral cortege was due to pass by. The small bridge, along the site of a bench featuring the members of the legendary rock group, has become festooned with flowers since Osborne's death last week. The Prince of Darkness, who grew up in this city, will be driven past public mourners before a private funeral service.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. America's listening to Fox.
A couple years ago, I was in the bathroom at the airport when I dropped my smartphone in the toilet. Not smart. I was multitasking when I should have been focused on the job at hand. Embarrassing, but I'm not alone. According to Google, 7 million other multitaskers accidentally dropped their phones into the bowl last year. A gentle reminder that right now you can get yourself a brand new Samsung Galaxy A36 absolutely free with a $35 plan from Pure Talk. The A36 comes with scratch-resistant Gorilla Glass and a battery that'll last all day, along with unlimited talk, text, and data on America's most dependable 5G network. In other words, it's tough and smart. Something to think about next time you're multitasking and the necessary. Just dial pound 250, say keyword micro to get your free phone today. You can make the switch in just 10 minutes. That's pound 250. Say micro to switch to a no-nonsense smartphone and a company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Finally, there is conservative talk in Atlanta, Georgia. Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. A big day today, Los. We got the Fed making their decision on what they'll do at 2:30.
Coming down.
Most people expect nothing, unfortunately. And they reconvene. The next opportunity, if they do nothing today, will be in September. Surely. Surely.
With the amount of pressure that has been put on the Fed in the last couple of weeks, including threats of investigation, threats of being taken to court, and then even Donald Trump in his not-so-subtle way last week.
When he's called him out.
Going over to Jerome Powell and basically being like, I hear this building's now costing us this much money.
He was like, no, it's not. It's this other amount. And Trump's like, well,
hold on. I got the paperwork here, and it turns out it's now costing us $3 billion.
You have been served.
That was the funniest thing of the week.
It's like I understand this cost overrun is not working out too well, but he's doing the so mafia-esque. Yeah, but Jerome's going to do the right thing here.
Yeah, pats him on the back.
Pats him on the back.
It was an aggressive pat on the back, too. He almost took him off his feet.
Yeah.
Nobody does it like
and Jerome Powell, the Fed chair, is just staring off into space like, I'm seriously standing here being dressed down by this guy, and I can't do anything about it other than stand here and just take it.
And look like a buffoon.
In a hard hat.
In a hard hat.
First time he's ever put one on in his life.
Not a chance he's ever done that. And Trump takes his off because he's like, I don't need this thing. I don't know.
He's like, you just keep yours on.
Yeah.
Clown.
Loser.
So we'll see.
Dude, yeah. So hopefully it'll turn out the way that we want. Huge fears of giant waves because of the earthquake in the peninsula in Russia. They've seen like you heard in the Fox News update, they've seen in Hawaii like a 5-foot increase in the water around the islands up on the shore. And then some of the waves that are coming in have reached the West Coast now. Not expected, they've kind of calmed people's nerves a little bit. They don't think the waves are going to be quite as big. Because you brought up the one from 2004 and in Indonesia, and just absolute gigantic waves, something that was, huge. And then there was the one in 2011, Indonesia and Japan, that was gigantic. These waves are just mammoth. It looks like something you'd do or go to for a surfing championship, not just.
Well, when you're talking about an 8.0 or an 8.8, whatever the final number comes in at, that is a lot of water that's getting displaced.
Yeah.
And so no surprise that, you're seeing when it comes to the waves that they're like 1.5 feet higher, thousands of miles away, hitting California than they should be. That's the kind of power. But, and give them credit, they are yet to claim that it's climate change.
It's coming.
In fact, the biggest climate change enthusiasts are climate change doesn't cause earthquakes. Like, oh, good for you.
Right.
Like, you are coming around.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see. We'll see which one of you breaks first.
Yeah, somebody will. There's
the reason why the Russians are dealing with this earthquake is because of climate change.
And then the Trump administration changing the EPA guidelines for cars and trucks.
And that is why the earth shook.
That's right.
In a violent manner.
That's right. There's going to be like a 45-day, comment.
Which one of you is going to break first and call it climate change?
Oh, my gosh.
I'm waiting right here.
It is the 2009 endangerment finding, something that Barack Obama put into place, and it pretty much limits the greenhouse gases that are released, so they say. And he's not taking it off of like power plants and coal mines, just cars and trucks. But the globalists, the climate alarmists that use that for power because they don't really believe in it, are losing their minds. They're melting down.
The interesting thing that happens with deregulation is that suddenly our politicians have less ability to be able to shake down companies. Because when you have enough regulation, you're able to tell anyone, hey, we want to build this. All right, well, we're going to have to go ahead and make some things happen here. Like, I still remember talking to, of all people, Shaquille O'Neal, and him telling the story, allegedly, this comes from Shaq, of Cory Booker trying to shake him down on something he was trying to do in that area of the country.
Wow.
It's like, this is what happens. This is how the game is played. And so when you have the Trump administration deregulating, suddenly you're removing a lot of ability for politicians to get that money from companies that are looking to, whether it's create or build or, try and add more staff or try and add a new product. That's how they end up getting their money out of it.
Just being able to control you, control your life, control everything you do. They thrive on that, dude. That's the goal. That's what they want. And here's the other thing. They act like it's settled science. It's not. It's not even close to settled science. And you have, the Chinese and the Russians, for that matter, funding a bunch of the climate hysteria. So they put out false research. They put out all this nonsense, and they send it to the crazy climate nutterbutters, and they're like screaming from the rooftops, and neither one of them do anything. China's building 2 new coal plants a week and have for the last 2 years.
It's in the interest of slowing down our economy.
That's right.
That's the goal of all of it.
Right. 100% yes.
Meanwhile, with those coal plants, they're gearing up because the amount of energy that AI is going to require, that's why they're building so much. No, not just their society. In fact, their society, hey, you live out in the farm, just as long as you're not starving anybody in the cities or the farms, we're okay. So you don't rise up. In the meantime, we need a lot of energy for this AI, because that's going to power a new generation of equipment and weapons as well.
Don't fall for it. Just use your head. They've been telling you that the climate's been changing, because of cars and all that. The climate's been changing since the Earth has existed. I was reading from Politico, strangely enough. They're talking about how the Earth is actually in a cooling cycle, and it hasn't been this cool in 200,000 years. You know what wasn't going on 200,000 years ago? Cars. Has anybody put that together? I'm not the smartest guy in the room ever. Seems like common sense to me.
I can always go back to the same thing. If you're familiar with the geologic time scale, you can always go back to the geologic time scale and have a pretty good idea of, especially when it comes to the fossil record and what was alive, you'll have a good idea as to, okay, what was the temperature? What was the weather? Now, when you're doing that, you're looking at billions of years at a time. Millions of years at the very least. When you talk about just getting back to like the Jurassic era, you're 60 million. Okay, like you're going back hundreds of millions of years of data that you're able to do this. And you want to tell me that you can take 50, 100 years of climate data and then extrapolate into what that really means. It's like I've said this many times. That's like taking the blink of an eye and using that one blink to tell me all about someone's life.
From beginning to end, from the day they were born.
They just blinked. Okay, now tell me all about them.
Everything you know. It's just absurd.
Yes.
It's an eyelash.
We would call that a bad sample size.
Yeah,
when it comes to statistical analysis.
To say the least, yes, sir. But
geologic timescale, that's like the first time that's popped up, I think, in 2020th. So
well, we need to make
on that bingo card. Geologic timescale.
Today is the
if you can
30th.
Memorize it.
Yeah.
Yes.
30th today. Make a note, please. At least put it in the books, Trey, if you can. Donald Trump has had a bit of a change of heart. He feels differently about the Russiagate hoax now that Tulsi Gabbard has found all the evidence that there was a coup against him. He knew it. He already knew it. But now he has the physical evidence to prove it. And when he was asked about it, you can just tell he's pissed. He's very even-keeled, but he's full speed ahead for those people that are involved. He even said out loud yesterday, Obama probably has immunity. He's like, not sure that's the way it's supposed to work, but that's what everybody keeps saying, so maybe he does. You know who doesn't? Hillary Clinton. Remember, it was last week when he talked about, we let Hillary off the hook, and I felt good about it. Former wife of a president, let the nation heal. I think this is the right decision. He no longer feels that way.
We had Hillary Clinton down to whatever we wanted to do with her, and I felt it was inappropriate. She's the wife of a president. She was a Secretary of State, and we could have done a very big number.
Yeah.
And I said, we don't want to be doing that. Let's, put it into the country and not the concept of putting her in jail, indicting her, all the things that you have to do. It's tough stuff. And I said, we don't want to do that. In fact, you remember I made speeches when I mentioned her name. They started to lock her up. Yeah. And I said, no, this is after we won. We just won. And I said,
you wanted the country
we have to
heal.
get back to, we want to heal. And yet they did it to me.
Yeah.
So I feel differently. I mean, I'm a human being. I have my feelings too. And so I feel differently about it.
Uh-oh. If I'm Hillary Clinton, I'm thinking to myself, I know what I did. I know what evidence is there. I don't know what's left. Look, we've destroyed a bunch of it. But there's evidence out there. Tulsi keeps finding it, keeps laying it out for the American people to make up their own mind. And it seems that the American people realize what actually happened was a coup against the president, and Donald Trump is no longer going to be passive. He is going to get these clowns. He's going to nail some of them to the wall.
Well, once you now have what is now the task force, the joint task force of what they're doing, yeah, they're not going to stop at just, in my opinion, hey, we're going to get you up in front of Congress and answer this. Like, they are going full blast. Now, is that going to be difficult when it comes to somebody like Barack Obama? Absolutely.
Well, and he even said that, like he said yesterday, he made the point of he'll probably be immune.
As I explained, Barack Obama, if you want to talk about the difference, because remember, presidential immunity, I think this is where you got to read this stuff. It's not complete immunity. It's not whatever you did in office, you've got immunity. The Supreme Court found that there is a difference in official acts and unofficial acts. And an unofficial act is not going to be covered by immunity. Now, what Donald Trump, when he says, I think he's probably protected, it's because you would have to prove in court that what he did was an unofficial act, in that ordering the Justice Department, DOJ, and everything and your CIA and everyone else to cook the books on this thing with a small group of people so that we create this scenario for Donald Trump. The problem is, the very thing that got this started, Barack Obama could say, well, based on the intel, I didn't agree with it, and so I wanted it looked into further. And at that point, that's an official act.
And Donald Trump knows that, and Donald Trump wants the slam dunk. He wants the people that he knows he can get. He's not going to waste time on what he could get.
No.
The fishing expedition, the hope for. He's going after the people that he knows he can nail.
And immunity, by the way, in Trump versus United States, this is your finding from July 1st, 2024, 603 U.S., if you want to look it up. It actually finishes when it says the president, therefore, may not be prosecuted for exercising his core constitutional powers, and he is entitled, at a minimum, to a presumptive immunity from prosecution for all his official acts. And here's the last thing. That immunity applies equally to all occupants of the Oval Office, regardless of politics, policy, or party. Doesn't matter which end, doesn't matter what your deal is, that applies. Doesn't say anything about those around the president.
That's right. And that's why Donald Trump, he's not even worried about Barack Obama. He's not campaigning on it. Campaigning's not the right word. He's not discussing it, talking about it, because it doesn't matter. He knows that will probably be protected. That's going to be. But the ones that he can get, man, he is going to wear them out. I love and he said in that cut that we just played, yeah, everybody's got their feelings on it. He was like, and I've got some feelings on it too.
It's interesting.
Dude, I'm telling you, I feel like he's
foreshadowing, isn't it?
Yes. I feel like he speaks with such intent. He seems like he's skipping around and kind of hemming and hawing. But when he wants to get a point across, he makes it crystal clear, at least to me.
To me, and I've said this many times, there's times where I think he's too honest, where I'm going to lay it all out. Now, we're not talking Joe Biden honest, where, hey, what about this pipeline? Oh, we can take it out. like, hold on.
Yeah.
That was at a meeting. You're not supposed to say that.
I guarantee you we can take it out.
You're not supposed to say that. But Donald Trump, I don't think has any problem with telling you, this is what I intend to do and this is what I'm going to try to do. And from that audio and from what he has said over the last several days, it really feels like those of you around Barack Obama who took part in this, it's your butt. Like, go get some lawyers.
Shaking in the boots. And Clapper already lawyered up. We already know about that.
And keep in mind, do I think anyone goes to prison? Probably not. But it's expensive to defend yourself.
Let's just say there's one. Somebody deserves to go to jail. This was a coup. This is treason.
Mm-hmm.
5 years minimum, hanging maximum, firing squad maximum, death penalty maximum. Somebody deserves to go to jail over a coup. We can't allow this.
Let me ask you this, Tug. Given where you're at with your family, if you had partaken in something along these lines, and I told you, you're either getting 5 years, or you can choose to defend yourself, and you may still get 5 years, but I'm going to drain about $3 million out of your family.
I don't have $3 million. Now, but a lot of them do.
But that's the determining factor of you might win in the end. I'm going to get your money.
It's going to be damaging to do so.
Because the thing about the federal government, it's endless amount of attorneys.
Yes.
It's endless amount of money.
That's right.
You don't drain the federal government.
Yeah. Even Bruce Hagen and Ray Giudice, who used to do a weekend law show on Extra, used to talk about that, having to face the federal government. He was like, there's no winning. There's no winning. He's like, I can't. There's no one can compete with that. That's a machine that is endless. It never stops. So to your point, I agree 100%. Maybe you just drain them all as best you can. I want to see somebody in jail.
Yeah, I'm with you.
There deserves to be somebody in jail. It'd be like shooting somebody in broad daylight and then just walking away. I mean, I know the Democrats would allow that, but we can't.
No, you need to put the fear of God into every single one of them so that none of them ever consider when they're back in power, hey, I got a great idea.
Remember what we did last time?
Why don't we go after our opponents like this?
Yeah. And then you have Chuck Schumer, who's just we don't have to play the audio here, but he was talking about how he's seeing the Trump administration weaponize the government, weaponize the DOJ, weaponize.
What?
Yeah. He was like, it's unprecedented. We've never seen this before. Hold up, dude. We saw it 6 months ago.
The dude has the mugshot in the Oval Office.
What are you talking about?
You were coordinating. Your White House was coordinating with Fonnie Willis to get this thing done.
Irrelevant. He's trying his dangdest to stay relevant, and it looks so desperate, because it is. When we continue on Extra 106.3, liberalism as a political movement is DIW. And if you aren't in the Navy, that's dead in the water. Next on Extra 106.3.
Extra 106.3 is Atlanta's home for NASCAR, and we have live races every weekend from across the country. Check out extra1063.com for the full schedule and join us this weekend for live NASCAR action.
Good morning, Mike. What you eating?
You gotta try this.
I can hear you crunching from the next cube over.
This is amazing. I just discovered it this weekend at Lidl. It's Greek Goddess Gourmet Granola. They were sampling it, so I tried it. Then I bought 6 bags.
Wow. Is it cereal?
Can be. Or an amazing trail mix. It's great for a meal or a snack.
What's in it?
Well, they have 2 flavors, maple oat and harvest nut, which is my favorite. It's made with whole grain oats, almonds, pecans, raisins, coconut, and the sweet taste of pure maple syrup. Maple oat is a simpler take on their delicious granola. It's got wholesome oats, plump raisins, coconut, and maple syrup.
That sounds healthy and delicious.
That's why I can't stop crunching, Susan.
Greek Goddess Gourmet Granola. It's a breakfast or on-the-go snack you can feel good about. It's dairy-free and gluten-free, and with only 2 grams of added sugar per serving, even your belly will love it. Pick some up at Lidl, Amazon, GreekGoddessGourmet.com, or at specialty stores near you.
You need a pre-owned car or truck, but you don't need the headache of searching for one. Spending hours calling dealerships, then spending half the day filling out paperwork.
Come on.
You need the Honest Car Guy.
Hey, this is Tom from the Honest Car Guy. We help you buy your next pre-owned car or truck honestly. We guarantee each vehicle we sell will come with a copy of the bill of sale, showing what we paid for it. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee. Guaranteed.
Get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Time now for the Retire Wise Report. James Parker here with financial advisor Sean Maloney, founder and CEO of Retire Wise. So when we go through days or weeks of volatility in the market, Sean, it's hard to know what to do. What can you tell us?
The biggest thing is don't panic or make immediate decisions with your money. Take those emotional concerns out of the middle of it. You know, look, markets cycle regularly. Market corrections and bear markets are a normal part of the cycle. They're just part of the plan that are going to be accounted for. If you feel nervous when you read the headlines about big drops in the market, you might not know enough about how your money is positioned. That's why it's important to get the right guidance on a financial plan for your retirement.
Tell us about the offer you have for our listeners.
All right, so now's the time to start, folks. Looking ahead and identifying if you have too much risk in your portfolio. That's the first thing. We have a helpful little resource for our listeners today. We call it the Retire Happy Framework Toolkit. You can get it today by calling or texting WISE to 770-802-2200. My team helped put together this just for you, and it's a complimentary guide. And the center of this is a copy of my latest book, The Priority of Retirement, plus guides on major topics like investments, Social Security, income planning, taxes, and so forth of the key components of retirement. So if you want to get this information in your hands today, call or text WISE to 770-802-2200. That's 770-802-2200.
Take advantage of this offer and get your Retire Happy Framework today. Just text WISE to 770-802-2200. The team at Retire Wise will get you your Retire Happy Framework to you right away. So just call or text WISE to 770-802-2200. Investment advisory services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Firm does not provide tax services.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Wednesday, July 30th. Atlanta-based Norfolk Southern Rail Company announced a historic merger with Union Pacific. The $250 billion merger marks the first transcontinental railroad in America. Norfolk Southern employs over 16,000 workers with over 3,000 in their Atlanta headquarters. 15 Georgia hospitals have been ranked among the highest in the country, according to U.S. News & World Report. Emory University Hospital ranked the highest from Georgia, followed by Emory St. Joseph's and Piedmont, Atlanta. Rankings were based on patient outcomes, including survival, complications, and readmission rates. And U.S. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene announced she will not enter the Georgia governor's race, citing concerns about the state of affairs in Georgia. Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones and Attorney General Chris Carr remain the only Republicans who have announced their intentions to run for the GOP candidate in next year's election. Today's weather, mostly cloudy. That'll keep the temperatures around 90 degrees. So we've got a small chance for thunderstorms this afternoon and evening. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
7 o'clock hour brought to you by Van Sant Law Group. If you're in an accident, make the right call. VanSantLaw.com. Liberalism is one of those words, when I hear it, I'm like, ugh. Because usually, not in the way of, hey, we don't want to progress at all, right? That's not that. It's the political nonsense that goes along with liberalism that I can't stand. So as a political entity, I think I want to make it clear that that's the liberalism I can't stand.
I don't have a problem with traditional liberals. Most of the things they believe in, I completely believe in as well. Yeah, we should have a Bill of Rights.
Sure.
We should be talking to each other about how important free speech is and how it should be absolute.
But, dude, liberals now don't talk about that stuff.
That's the difference. The classic liberal is going away. This new version of liberalism is on a level where you just kind of, like, for instance, if I was to say, hey, you know what, I think vaccines might cause autism. The new liberal goes, well, you're not allowed to say that. That's dangerous. In fact, we're going to make sure that you can't appear anywhere. In fact, you can't even hold a job. It's like, hold on, that's the classic liberal believes in free speech. The current day liberal wants to shut you down for whatever you have to say. In fact, if you happen to bring up even issues that are actually true, well, now we're talking about, well, that's malcontent. We know it to be true, but it shouldn't be said.
Right.
Like you've actually created terms in new liberalism where we are supposed to silence people that you don't agree with or that you don't want to have a discussion with. So I want you to listen. Steve Bannon, 2 days in a row.
Old Stevie.
Steve Bannon doing his war room, and the idea of the current day liberalism came up. Steve Bannon is going to tell you what direction he believes this is going.
This is a rising generation of energy and commitment and dedication. These are young people who have had their prospects stripped from them. Maybe that is Bannon's people under 35 are nothing more than Russian serfs. That crowd. So Ed Luce today, Western liberalism's waning star, which is really saying, hey, when Obama or Biden are in office, or like Keir Starmer's in office, Nigel Farage, boom, uses that time, builds his coalition, and rises like no one's ever risen before. This is why I had Nigel on yesterday. Or, out of power from 21 to 24, the War Room posse will hammer and hammer and hammer and hammer and get ready for greater things ahead after we win. He said the West, that's how it works. Political hydraulics. But when they're out of power, the Democratic Party doesn't do that. The Liberal Party, the Progressive Party just kind of meanders, and they're meandering right now. What they're meandering away from is the neoliberalism of Ed Luce and more traditional populism. You're getting Mandami, etc.
That's his point. His point is that traditional liberal that I actually get along with, have discussions with, are able to hey, we might agree on quite a number of things and other things we don't, and that's fine. That's where we're going, but we have foundational beliefs, including the Constitution. He's pointing out the new liberal does not care for any of it, has no point in traditional liberalism.
And you've seen that for the last 20, 25 years happening, and that's why I say I can't stand that liberalism, is because it was always shout down the person you disagree with. Shut them down. They don't need to talk. We want to put them in jail. We call them ignorant. Maybe I'm sensitive to it because I've been called a dumb hillbilly my whole life. maybe that's the reason. But I also believe that those new liberals that Steve Bannon and you were talking about, those are the ones that are trying to talk to kids in college. like 24 and younger, because those kids have and I brought this up yesterday, have no concept of what socialism is. And that's what they want to implement, socialism, communism. It's not the classic liberal that you're talking about that believe that, like, we come from different points of view, but we all get to the middle of freedom of speech, Constitution is important.
Bill of
Rights is important. Like, the people that are trying to talk to your kids
have no interest in any of it.
Zero.
That's why he talks about meandering, that they're lost in the woods trying to figure out, all right, how do we get a foothold back in this thing until you get back to Constitution, freedom of speech, Bill of Rights. You will be meandering the entirety of the time. That 18, 19, 20%, it's where you're at. And just as you said, Tug, when the idea is I'll shout you down versus I will debate you in the public square, the reason why we win, it's because we win in the arena of public ideas. I'm going to talk about my ideas versus yours. And what have we now seen as a result? This is like bigger picture. What has now been the result of this tariff policy? None of them said they were wrong. Now they're just trying to spin it as, well, those are just taxes coming your way. Hold on. You told me this was going to happen. Donald Trump won. Scott Bessent won. Like, if you were to say, hey, we were wrong, the only one who said he's wrong is Bill Maher.
That's right.
The classic liberal.
The one that said, I said it. Here's what I said. Here's what actually happened. I'm willing to say I'm wrong. But I think we do a really good job of that. As conservatives, we will say we're wrong. If there's something that has happened that we don't agree with, we're not afraid to point it out. I say it all the time. I get things wrong all the time. And I'm okay with being wrong because I feel like that's when you learn the most. When you have those moments where you're like, oh my gosh, this didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. That's the thing you remember most. When everything is cruising along easy, nothing changes, you're right, everything's good. You don't remember all that. It's when you're wrong is when you learn the most.
All right. I want to admit something to the audience and to my two guys that I work with. I'm not wrong.
Well, you can't be the oracle of
Hold on.
Being wrong.
I'm not wrong. It's just sometimes I didn't see something coming.
It's like the punch coming in from the back. Nobody saw it coming.
Just didn't see that one coming. Every now and then, be like, here's what I think is going to happen. And I can go home and be like, man, I think I was wrong about that. Like, no, how about you just say you just didn't see it coming?
That's right. Easy way. But either way it goes.
But I think we're very adamant about the reason why I think we stay ahead of things is because it's not about, here's what I've been told, that's what I'm going with. It's, okay, let's connect the dots, let's move further down the line. And when we're wrong about something, it's typically because, man, I didn't see that portion of it coming, or that's new information that was headed our way. And I think that's one of the things that we look to do. It's when you give me more information, suddenly I'm reformulating, the new Coke here.
Well, because that's what normal people do. I mean, if you don't have the entire puzzle, it's impossible to make a good decision. That's why when you do get those added pieces, the picture's clear.
Like, one of the issues that I have brought up in the last 10 days, when we talk about Russian collusion, we would always lay it at the feet of Hillary Clinton and what she was doing and opposition research and all Steele dossier, all that stuff.
Because we knew that piece of the puzzle.
Right. At no point had we ever been privy to any information that there were discussions in the Oval Office about how to enhance it and make it real, make it more problematic for Donald Trump, and it was laid at the feet of Barack Obama. Like, to me, I always just believed Obama didn't have anything to do with that. Just, we know what, that's a Hillary thing. Then, once you saw what direction it went and what part he had in it, now it turned into, he's got to go to prison. But that's new info. That's stuff that when you get new information, you reformulate the idea here.
I'm not super genius ever. Again, never smartest guy in the room ever. I always thought there had to be a connection to Obama somehow or other.
I just didn't think you'd ever find anything.
Yeah, now that's a fair point.
Like if you told me, he knew about it.
There's no way that the president and the person that has been anointed to run for president, they physically made her the candidate, even though another Democrat was more popular and was leading in the polling. If they're going to manipulate that, there has to be some. I didn't know what it was. I had no idea how clear it was. I had no idea how deep the evidence was. But there was always that little bit of gut instinct going, there's no way he don't know.
I just figured that within what would have been like the last month of his administration, he would have said, I don't need to deal with this.
Yeah. I'm out.
Instead, he was like, hell yeah.
I'm about to run all this from my basement, as I told you.
So as I said, I wasn't wrong. I just didn't see it coming.
Right. New information became available.
Every now and then that happens. You got to readjust a little bit on the fly.
Yeah. God, it's great when you do get that information. We're able to figure it all out. Because I'll tell you, this has been entertaining to me a little bit. And I know politics, I guess politics are entertainment of a sort.
Politics is a sport.
It kind of is. It certainly feels that way. But this has been entertaining to me to learn the things that I thought might be right, and I had no idea how to connect the dots because I didn't have, like Los was saying, didn't have all the information. Chuck Schumer, this dude has the gall to say never, and I brought this up a little bit earlier, never in our lifetimes have we seen a president use the levers of power in a way to manipulate, in a way to go after his political enemies. Never have we seen that. And I would say the exact opposite is that Donald Trump's the most transparent president we've ever had.
Donald Trump's probably going to be the first president we've had in recent history, like last 50 years, that will leave office with less money than he came in.
Yeah.
Because of everything that has gone on.
Right. And he doesn't take a salary on top of that. I mean, was it JFK, the last person that did that? Wasn't JFK?
It's been a while.
At least that's the one that I remember. Yeah, Chuck says, never seen people enrich themselves and their inner circle. Like, just listen to this dude and try to take him seriously for just 1 second.
What's happening here in Washington with all this cost increase happening, with all this chaos? In addition, unfortunately, it's unprecedented corruption. Never in our lifetimes have we seen a president use the levers of power so transparently to personally enrich himself and his inner circle. That never happened in America.
Huh?
Presidents, Democrats, Republicans, independents, conservatives, liberals, they respected the fact that their office, being in high office, was a guardianship, not to grab and reach and make money and enrich themselves. But that's what Trump is doing regularly.
All right, let me make sure I've got this as straight as I possibly can. So I was told that while Elon Musk was cutting the government apart, that he was doing it to enrich himself.
Mm-hmm.
Now that he's
richest man in the world, yes.
Yes. Now that he's no longer part of the government, suddenly that talking point has gone away.
Elon never brought up.
Never comes up.
Wow.
He enriched himself.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
He was winning contracts for the federal government.
It's like, all right, that sounds great. Now, you want to make the comparison, and hypocrisy, pointing out liberal hypocrisy is almost of no use.
Daily.
It doesn't matter.
Right, it's daily.
We actually had a scenario where the president of the United States, on his way out, with the one thing we know he did sign was a pardon for his son for enriching himself in what he was doing around the world.
That goes back 10 years.
And you're going to tell me about they were enriching themselves. Listen, Donald Trump and the rest of the administration is over the target. And the more that Jeffries and Schumer are complaining every single day, whether it's on voter ID or what is going on with these cuts, you're over the target and you're winning. If they weren't saying a word, you should be concerned.
Chuck Schumer, a man that watched it up close, would have you believe that Donald Trump is enriching himself. How? Show me how. What is it that he's done as president in the last 6 months that you go, man, I bet he's getting loaded, filthy rich off of that?
Let me tell you, and this has been true for the better part of 40 years in politics, especially with the rise of cable news. If the Democrats are talking about you, that's who they're afraid of. They're not talking about people that they are not concerned about. They're not worried about whatever congressman from somewhere out in Connecticut or Idaho or Utah. They talk about who scares them, who is doing the damage to them, who they can't stand, who hurts them the most. So what are you hearing? I mean, obviously, Trump is constant.
But even when he wasn't in office, they talked about him like that.
Because they were always afraid of him.
They were always horrified.
They all knew they couldn't win elections against him.
And they haven't.
And they haven't.
And they haven't.
And so just wait. Like, it'll ramp up. Like, the Trump stuff will curtail. And then it's going to come into J.D. Vance has a tail and devil horns. Like, that'll be the next one that you're going to get.
You think the way they're treating Donald Trump is bad and have treated? Wait till they get an actual conservative in that office.
But think about who they always talk about when they bring them up. And it's not only just Republican presidents, but, like, bring up a guy like Ted Cruz with them. Watch how they go crazy. Or Marco Rubio. They go nuts.
MTG.
Nuts. They tell you who they're afraid of by talking about them. Since the rise of cable news, if they're not talking about you, it's because they're not scared of you. And so when Schumer and Jeffries are complaining about what's going on with the administration, that's awesome.
I believe 80% of the country realizes the damage that Joe Biden did to this country and the way he behaved or didn't behave. The board of directors around him that ran the country, everybody sees it. It's pretty clear now.
The way he slept.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you couldn't miss it.
That man for 4 years slept and had Jell-O and ice cream and fell asleep at public events.
Chuck Schumer had a front row seat to see his family enriching themselves. What does the communists do? Blame you for what they are doing or have done. That's how you know. Just like Lo said, that's how you know. When we come back, J.D. Vance. Let's talk about it since you brought him up. Let's talk about him because he's getting a front row seat to how you run the country as president. It's almost like a little bit of a, I don't know, an internship maybe?
Maybe somebody might call it an apprenticeship.
Apprenticeship, better word. Next on Extra.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Wednesday, July 30th. The Atlanta Braves lost last night 9-6 to the Kansas City Royals in KC, but more concerning was the injury to All-Star Ronald Acuna Jr. He is headed to the injured list with right Achilles tightness after leaving the game and exiting the stadium in a boot. Acuna will be reevaluated today. As for the rubber match, that is going to be a first pitch set for 2:10. You can hear that game on our sister station's brand new app, 680 The Fan. From the NFL, the shooter that targeted the league headquarters on Monday claimed to have CTE. 4 people, including an off-duty officer, were killed in that attack. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Down the hall, our coworker is Buck Ballou. He's a South Georgia boy. He's got that proper Southern accent. And when he says Southern exteriors, he says Southern. That's the proper Southern way to do it. And I'm Appalachian, so I don't get it exactly right. Like most everything. The one thing I have gotten right, though, is working with Southern Exteriors. Every time they've been out to our home, they've done exactly what I asked them to do. There's never a question at the end. There's never a, yeah, but I wish y'all had done. Nope, none of that. They always get it right. You know why? Because they have a foreman on site. A guy that's there supervising the work that's done, the work that's been agreed on. So there's no need for you to be out there worrying if the people that are working in your house are doing the right thing or you see them carrying in the wrong color paint. You know, to from the van to paint the outside, to paint the siding of your home. You're like, oh, no, wait, whoa. All right, let's talk about this. Foreman on site, he makes sure it's right. And if there are any questions, he brings them to you. That's the way it should work. A lot of rain in the forecast. Think about your roof. I tell you about it all the time. I mean, it's going to rain for the next through, oh my gosh. I've got the weather app open today. Through next Friday, 50% chance of rain. Today through next Friday. So, roof, if you have that little bit issue, it'll be something you can take care of. I won't pound on it again. But I will tell you, you can get 10% off any job, no matter how big. 12 months, 0% financing. It's your choice. 8779-SOUTHERN or Southern. 8779-SOUTHERN or southernexteriors.co.
There's a new vibe in Tucker, and it's teeing off at Heritage Golf Links. After a multi-million-dollar renovation, the course has never looked better. From pristine new greens and bunkers to the stunning 11,000 square foot putting green, Heritage Golf Links is ready to impress, challenge, and deliver an unforgettable round you'll come back for again and again. And when the sun goes down, the game keeps going. Our one-of-a-kind night range is lit up and open Friday and Saturday nights until 10 p.m. so your swing can shine under the lights. So, whether you're practicing, playing, or just enjoying the full-service bar and grill, Heritage Golf Links is the perfect place for golfers who want more than just a round. Heritage is a destination and a better golf experience. Reserve your tee time at heritagegolflinks.com. That's heritagegolflinks.com.
Located just minutes from downtown Atlanta, Heritage Golf Links is easily accessible from I-285 and I-85. Join A Second Chance Bail Bond CEO Daniel Madelon and host Tug Coward for the weekly radio show Back Your Blue. They will highlight special initiatives, criminal justice programs, and community events aimed at keeping our communities safer. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to learn some good news about and from the law enforcement and justice communities. Tune in on Saturdays or catch up on all past episodes wherever you get your podcasts or at thepodcastpark.com.
No one plans on going to jail, but when it happens, it's important that you know who to call. Call A Second Chance Bail Bonds, where we believe everyone deserves a second chance. Whether your loved one's been arrested in Cherokee, Clayton, or any of the other metro Atlanta counties in between, A Second Chance Bail Bonds works fast to help expedite release within hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
This is House Call for Health. A study suggests Americans can stay sharper and healthier in their later years by exercising and eating better. Initial research findings published earlier this week show older Americans who followed healthier eating habits and exercised their bodies and minds scored as if they were a year or two younger on brain tests. Geriatrics professor Laura Baker led the study, consisting of 2,100 participants between ages 60 and 79. Study participants were split into two groups. One group was tasked with exercising daily and playing brain games, as well as socializing regularly and even got help from coaches. Meantime, the other was given brain-healthy advice with little coaching. Researchers are now examining brain scans and blood tests from participants to see if there was any reduction in Alzheimer's-related protein buildup during the study. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Promises made, promises kept. The president is making the economy great again. He's securing the border for America's safety, and the mainstream media still wants to tear him down.
The media wants Donald Trump to fail. That's their goal. That's how they'll report his progress.
But we know the truth, and we give you the perspective that other stations won't. Atlanta's only conservative voice is Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. We're talking about role models, how important a father is in the home. You know, Jennifer Aniston famously said, well, I don't need a man to have a baby. No, you don't. That don't make it a good idea. They don't make it. Playing in I-75, you can go do that too. Free country. That don't make it a good idea.
Playing in I-75.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, during Russia, I don't make it a good idea. You can do it. Don't make it a good idea.
You're welcome to.
Another thing is having that role model or having someone that you look up to, maybe when it comes to work. Maybe there's someone who's mentored you, or maybe you've had an apprenticeship. I feel like there is one very important person moving forward for the future of America that is getting that apprenticeship now.
The vice president's role in any administration, you do the public relations stuff. You do the trip to Zimbabwe that the president doesn't want to do. Like that's your job. And your job, it's very much like a doctor. Do no harm. Right? Let's make sure you do no harm.
And smile a lot.
So that if the job ever falls your way, people kind of think highly of you. The problem is Kamala Harris was given in charge of the border czar. Do no harm went out the window. All right? Like that really hurt during that campaign. J.D. Vance has 3.5 years to prove that he is the future of Donald Trump's movement, that he is the caretaker. And if you know the backstory, it's Trump's sons that were the ones that were suggesting to Donald Trump, hey, I think you should really look into this guy. And then the more he looked into him, the more it took off into, I think this would be the right guy. Did he refer to me as Hitler before? Well, everybody does that.
Right.
Read up on him? Okay, see what it is. I want you to listen to this audio and imagine this is like a straight out of a Donald Trump speech. Like a total speech where he shows up in your hometown and he holds a political rally and he starts talking about, hey, this steel mill that's been closed, we got it back. It's coming back. You're going to have it operational in a year. Here's how many jobs are going to come here. That is, I think, what is powering this movement. It's that average, everyday Americans feel like somebody is seeing them That I think,
and cares.
That's the key to all of it. Make America great again. Okay, it's a term, it's a phrase, it's 4 letters. It's really about average Americans feel like they're being noticed.
But he also backs it up, Los. In your example with the steel mill, if you look at that deal with the EU, anything to do with aluminum or steel kept a 50% tariff. Everything else went to 15%.
Yes.
Except that, which illustrates the point.
I'm protecting these workers.
Exactly right.
So here's J.D. Vance. Now, this is over the weekend. Tell me if this doesn't echo what Donald Trump does and how this is what his job is over the next 3.5 years, to where when the mantle is now yours, you're ready for it.
In both parties, a generation of failed politicians who rewarded businesses for opening up factories overseas and penalized businesses for building right here in the United States of America. And under the leadership of Donald J. Trump, we have turned that stupid logic right on its head. We are going to reward companies for investing in the United States of America, and we're going to punish companies for building in China and Mexico.
Listen to that applause. Like, that is, I am talking to the average American who is still interested in building stuff. Because we talked about it before. When we're a country of masseuses, we are on our way out.
Yeah, that's bad news.
When we're a country that is still building, I don't care what it is, widgets, cars, TVs, and if we are manufacturing, those are good jobs with good pay and typically good benefits.
And usually a
stronger country.
A trade that will always have value. It's not like coming out of art school, and going to be an art teacher or an English teacher. Will there be places for that? Yes, you'll have, teachers in school. But outside of teaching, tell me how those help the American people, the American public, the economy, us as a whole. It doesn't.
You bring that up, and I've got to find where I had this in my notes. So I had saw this note as of a couple days ago, and what it pointed out was that when you look at the economic data for college graduates, here, I've got it right here, you now have, when it comes to young people, Gen Z, so people just out of college right now, Gen Z men with college degrees now have the same unemployment rate as non-graduates. Now, that's different. You're 30 or 40, you've built up a resume, you have experience. The college grad is going to be doing better than the non-grad. But right now, that is what's going on in America. That's why you have Gen Z men that are looking over going, these policies that have run for 12 of the last 16 years have not helped me. Donald Trump, I'm going this direction.
That's right. And those trade jobs, because obviously I keep up with it because my son's going into his junior year. He's got 2 years of college left. What are his prospects for work when he gets out of college? And the thing that I see, the trend that I see is the kids that are actually going to trade school have the edge on kids going to college. Does that mean a college degree is bad? No, of course it doesn't. But it does mean you have to be able to do something that is useful. You have to do something that provides a service, creates something that is of value, and not the nonsense crap that people have been graduating with for the last 20 years.
So I did some electrical work in our basement over the last week.
Yeah, you and your stepfather.
My stepfather was in town. This is what he does. And so I was following what I was told. Didn't get electrocuted, got everything mostly done, so that was pretty cool. So in my mind, I've got the degree and the background and the financial ability to start an electrical company. Okay, I'm not an electrician. The degree I have will never make me an electrician. I can be the boss of electricians, but how long does that last before the electricians go, this guy doesn't know anything?
I can do it on my own.
He's just running the store.
Yeah, that's right.
What's the big deal with this guy?
Yeah.
So, and I think that's the deal when I keep now looking at college degrees. For the longest time, they check boxes. And again, they have value. And the experience has value. And all of it has value.
Makes a well-rounded person. I think it's good, too.
I think it's absolutely great. The guy who knows how to put in that HVAC system, that's different.
That's a skill that is going to be around.
Yes.
I'm not sure that AI is going to change out HVAC systems.
No, I don't believe so. I don't think that's coming.
And if it is, that's 100 years down the road.
Hopefully.
75 years down, whatever it is. HVAC, plumbing, electricians, all of that will always be needed.
Trades are coming back.
Absolutely.
Mike Rowe has been saying this for 15 years.
At a minimum. He's the first person I ever heard say it.
Of dirty jobs, telling you about these jobs and not going away, and AI is not going to be able to replicate or take care of these. These jobs are the ones you need to be looking into. And the problem was, many people looked at it and said, well, I don't want to have my name on my shirt for a living.
Looking down their nose.
Yeah.
And it becomes so popular to look down your nose at hard work. We have a generation of people that despise hard work, and they despise the people that do it. They don't look at the people coming to fix the HVAC as somebody that they admire. It's gotta let them in the house. They have to come do this work for me.
Those people are superheroes.
Oh, my God.
No kidding, but that's not the way some people look at them, man. It's not. I'm telling you, I've met those people that look down their nose. I grew up where my daddy worked with his hands. My mama worked in a carpet mill. They worked their fingers to the bone. I know what that work is. I appreciate that work.
My dad finished up as basically a VP of the AT&T subsidiary when it came to high-speed internet. When DSL started, he was like, okay, y'all think this is going to fail. I'll take it. That man started when he was 18, 19 years old climbing telephone poles.
But that's work, man. That's real work.
That was work.
That's real work.
Like something would happen, that's what. And so now you go 40 years later and you get to do this stuff.
But look where it started. Look at the wisdom that comes through that 40 years.
Yes.
That's the thing that I feel like.
That man ain't climbing any more poles anymore, by the way.
Yeah, he doesn't have to.
Exactly. But because he was willing to do it.
That's exactly right, dude. Hard work is not a bad thing. And I know so many people that frown on it. Oh, I would never do that. I don't want my kids doing that. Dude, I tell my kid all the time, do everything you can, especially the stuff that you're not comfortable with. Work out of your comfort zone every opportunity you get. I'm not sure he listens to me, but it's not for lack of trying. He hears it. When we come back on Extra 106.3, the Democrats want you to believe the tariff revenue, that found money, well, that really is just a tax on you. Next on Extra.
Time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Okay, I truly don't even know where to start with this. The left is getting so unhinged. We're actually going to talk about Sydney Sweeney. If you don't know who she is, well, she's pretty gorgeous. Nice body. And an especially nice caboose, if you will. So she's doing an ad for American Eagle, who I think they make jeans or something. And in this ad, the narrator says, Sydney Sweeney has great jeans. And it shows a view of her from behind, and as I like to say, she sure does take the shape out of those jeans. Then there's a billboard. Sydney Sweeney has great jeans, G-E-N-E-S. She crosses out that word on the billboard and inserts J-E-A-N-S. Okay, you got the picture. The left, especially on TikTok, is saying that this is all Nazi propaganda, and it's racist, and it's eugenics. One leftist said, praising Sydney Sweeney for her white, blue-eyed appearance is a racist dog whistle. When those traits are uplifted as genetic excellence, we know where this is headed. Then somebody says, well, I like a big booty. This person is black. So that means that promoting Sydney Sweeney's booty is racist, and it promotes white supremacy. No, I'm not kidding, folks. That's what people are saying. Then a trans writer, I don't know what its pronouns are, said that promoting Sydney Sweeney's jeans is Nazi stuff. It's a Nazi way. Totally. So nothing earth-shaking here today, folks. Just wanting to let you know how absolutely unhinged and crazy the left can get in this country. And while we're at it, let's hear it for good jeans, especially Sydney's. Neil Bortz Extra 106.3.
Saving you money, I'm Hillary Barsky. Canceled or delayed flights can cost travelers a lot of dough, and getting an airline to pay you back for expenses isn't impossible, but it involves a lot of work. Airline passengers have very few rights, according to Paul Hudson, president of Flyers Rights. Customers are entitled to a refund if a flight is canceled for any reason or significantly delayed, and they opt not to travel, according to the Transportation Department. This policy extends to non-refundable tickets, but the DOT makes that determination on a case-by-case basis. While airlines are required to provide refunds in these circumstances if requested, they aren't barred from offering other ways to correct the situation, and often offer a passenger the opportunity to rebook on another flight or a voucher or credit for future travel. In these situations, customers will need to speak with an airline representative and ask for an involuntary refund. And not all customer service reps will be familiar with this term, but Hudson says it could be magic words for a quick refund. Saving you money, Hillary Barsky, Fox News.
WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
Hawaii is in less danger now. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's a tsunami warning siren that was issued after a powerful earthquake off the Russian coast.
8.8 magnitude, the sixth largest ever recorded, sixth strongest ever recorded. Really, anytime you get up to an 8 or stronger, you are looking at a catastrophic level of an earthquake, and that can set off a tsunami.
And it did, but Fox meteorologist Adam Klotz says it has not been catastrophic.
The largest waves we've seen getting up close to 6 feet on the Hawaiian Islands, the Big Island getting up close to 5 feet. These have been the largest waves we've seen. Now, that is kind of winding down at this point. At one point, we were at a tsunami warning. It's currently been downgraded to a tsunami advisory there for the Hawaiian Islands. But those waves continue to march across the Pacific Ocean and now beginning to interact with the West Coast.
And there have been 2 to 5 foot waves reported in the San Francisco area. A vigil in New York City for the 4 people murdered in Monday's shooting spree in a Manhattan high-rise building. Here's Mayor Eric Adams.
To have to walk through and see the remnants of violence of that level tore at me.
A gunman killing himself after killing an off-duty NYPD officer, an executive at the investment company Blackstone, an employee of the real estate firm Rudin Management, and a security guard.
They say that grief is the price you pay for love.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul.
That's Fox's Kristen Goodwin. Both the mayor and the governor are Democrats and called for stricter gun laws. Israel keeps attacking Hamas in Gaza, where Palestinian officials say at least 46 people were killed. And amid growing concern about starvation and a lack of food in Gaza, Britain says it plans to recognize a Palestinian state in September unless Israel agrees to a ceasefire. Ozzy Osbourne fans lining the streets of Birmingham, England to pay their last respects to the rock icon.
He was just always true to his word. He was just kept it real, said it how it was, and that's what everyone loves about him.
She's among the thousands who'll watch the hearse carrying Ozzy's body drive by in a procession on the way to a private funeral service. He died last week at 76. America's...
A couple years ago, I was in the bathroom at the airport when I dropped my smartphone in the toilet. Not smart. I was multitasking when I should have been focused on the job at hand. Embarrassing, but I'm not alone. According to Google, 7 million other multitaskers accidentally dropped their phones into the bowl last year. A gentle reminder that right now you can get yourself a brand new Samsung Galaxy A36 absolutely free with a $35 plan from Pure Talk. The A36 comes with scratch-resistant Gorilla Glass and a battery that'll last all day, along with unlimited talk, text, and data on America's most dependable 5G network. In other words, it's tough and smart. Something to think about next time you're multitasking in the necessary. Just dial pound 250, say keyword micro to get your free phone today. You can make the switch in just 10 minutes. That's pound 250. Say micro to switch to a no-nonsense smartphone and a company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Grow your business organically with Atlanta's fastest growing news and talk station, Extra 106.3. Get started today by emailing sales@xtra1063.com.
Los out there easing people's minds, tell them it's going to be just fine. Maybe you don't know this about front office Los. Because if you just listen to Extra 106.3, maybe this is the first introduction to me or him. My background has always been country music. Los has always been in sports. I still do country radio. Los still does sports radio. And the sales pit out at Dickey Broadcasting Company where we work here at Extra 106.3, Battery, Atlanta, Truist Park, home of the Atlanta Braves. They're out there waving Los in. Are they asking him about Russiagate? Are they asking him about the 2:30 meeting of the Fed today? Will they lower interest rates just by 0.25%? Are they going to wait till September? What's going to happen? Nope, that's not what they ask.
No, and this was, so, are we going to have a lockout in Major League Baseball? I said, I think we're okay for the time being.
Yeah,
Obviously, we're going to get through this season. I was like, guys, the collective bargaining agreement does not end officially until December 1st of 2026. Which means you will get through the 26 season. Then they have to get another collective bargaining agreement. And of course, as sales guys, their only concern is, all right, good, then I can sell and not worry about it for next year.
Right.
And then the problem will be on the horizon of having to tell advertisers, here, buy the Braves. We don't know when they're going to start playing.
It was like the COVID year. Trying to sell Braves.
Yes,
right?
Very much so.
And because they didn't know.
Didn't know when it was going to start.
Are they even going to have a season?
And the same thing happened when the Braves won the World Series in 2021. The collective bargaining agreement was up. And so then we didn't know when the season was going to start officially. So around these parts, they had a hard time trying to get advertisers to commit. Well, so now you've had labor peace for the better part of 5 years. So that's obviously good. We'll see what happens after December 1st of 2026. At least you'll have time, more than likely, because deadlines make deals. You'll have about 3 months before spring training really gets going to line out a new deal. And we'll see what happens.
If they can.
If they can. No, there is no, and we always talk about unions. Because unions, teachers' unions, I don't like the idea of public unions because
same.
They're basically fighting against the people. They're arguing against the taxpayer as to why you should pay them more. Private unions, hey, you want to go at the automakers and you want to be unionized and you think that you should get your benefits or the dock laborers, whatever. I'm like, cool. By all means, y'all unionize. Have at it. There is no more powerful union in all of the world than Major League Baseball Players Association.
They are locked down.
They are lockstep. No, everybody gets paid. You guys are going to look bad. Yeah, that's fine. Still get my money. We don't mind.
Yeah. I saw something about this yesterday. Allegedly, Bryce Harper took a bat and was walking up to Rob Manfred like, get out of our clubhouse.
There's something about I don't know.
Wow, I didn't see that. I didn't hear about that.
It's about the Harper and Manfred having some sort of altercation.
And that's the thing about Harper is that, he's such, you hate him because he plays for the Phillies.
Cartoon villain.
Yeah, he is, very much so.
But if he was on the Braves.
He's Gargamel. But
he's got a cat and he chases around little blue people.
Yeah, that's right. He's a bad guy. But if he's on your team, you're cheering for him. And here's the other thing. Everything that I've read about him, everything that I've heard about him, that he is the greatest guy ever. Family man, cares about the people around him. He lives his life the right way. He tries to do the right thing. There's nothing about me that doesn't like Bryce Harper until he steps at the plate at Truist Park. Then I'm
the moment when I knew about him, like, okay, as a person, was his first few games in Philadelphia when he signed that contract, moving on from Washington to Philly. And he had this green shag on his shoes. And you're like, what is that? Yeah. These two goofy eyeballs that were like on the lips of his shoes. And you're like, oh, it's a Philly Fanatic.
Yeah.
He had the Philly Fanatic, like some sort of representation built in the cleats he was wearing. I was like, okay, that's pretty funny. That's cool.
He's a good dude, man. The coolest thing I ever saw when it comes to Bryce Harper is my son was playing baseball at Cooperstown, Dreams Park. It is at 12 years old. Boys go to Cooperstown and play ball, and the fields were built at Dreams Park by a Marine who grew up loving baseball, and he created this Dreams Park idea, 200-foot fences, so kids can go there and hit home runs at the Baseball Hall of Fame. It is the most incredible experience that I've ever seen and ever had, having a kid playing ball and now playing college ball. That is the greatest memory I have. So fantastic. There is a great picture across the street, little pizzeria, where all the kids gather before they go in, because it's like summer camp. You stay in housing with your coaches. You stay in barracks. They feed you. The parents just literally show up to games, drink a lot, and then show up to games. But there's no fighting because everybody's hitting home runs. It's great.
Great.
But on the wall there's the picture of Bryce Harper, as a 12-year-old playing. And I don't know, it just connected with me.
Yeah, that's cool.
Holy cow, man. This dude is one of the greatest players of all time, and he also came here.
And he was already through here.
Yeah, he came in and hit. Obviously, he hit tanks everywhere he went.
I mean, that was a kid who made it a point to graduate high school early so he could be drafted at 17, so he could get to the majors at like 20, which meant he ended up being a free agent at 27, which is why he got a crazy ton of money. So even though you're like, man, has he been playing for like 14, 15 years? Yeah, and he's like 32, 33.
Yeah, so incredible. So God bless Bryce Harper, unless he's playing over here at Truist. And then, the Democrats had told you shelves are going to be empty. Tariffs are going to just absolutely crash the American economy. How could we trust this dictator Donald Trump? How could we do this? How could we elect him? How could we let him run our country into the ground? And then the truth came out, and it wasn't any of those things. But they still try, even to this day, when all the experts have said, we're wrong.
Chuck Schumer got on the floor of the Senate and proceeded to tell you about how, hey, Donald Trump is claiming $150 billion in tariffs, and that's all taxes moved on to you. No, actually, when you ended the Bush-era tax cuts, that was taxes put onto me. When you added Obamacare and you told me, well, you have to pay this, and we all said, no, that's illegal. So you took it to the Supreme Court and turned it into a tax. You know, I mean, the Democrats are so good at making sure to continuously tax you. That's the game. That's how they play it. You would think for a group that loves taxing Americans, if this was true, they would be celebrating the tariffs.
They'd be holding it up like a belt.
They'd be like, wow.
Like at WWE.
Because the goal has always been, since the Obama administration came into play, since this idea of liberalism, we're not talking about Bill Clinton, that was different. That was blue dog Democrat politics. That was work with the Republicans. That was the tech boom. That was a lot of money in people's pockets in the 90s. Made a lot of millionaires out of regular people. The Obama administration has looked to squeeze the economy to where it becomes stagnant. And that occurred also during Joe Biden. Why do you think it's so easy to deal with inflation? Why do you think they didn't do it? Put less money in your pocket. You're more dependent on government.
Which is the goal, the ultimate goal.
So if these tariffs were so bad for Americans, why are they complaining so much?
Right.
They're the only group that keeps taxing me. They're the only group that tries to slow the economy. They're the only group that looks to restrict the amount of money people have in their pockets so they're dependent on government. If the tariffs were so bad, they wouldn't be saying a word.
They would be quiet as they can be, but they know.
Connect them dots.
But here's the thing. Tax is such a good buzzword because everybody participates. You know, for the most part, everybody participates. And if they can convince you that Donald Trump's doing you wrong, then maybe, just maybe, you'll come crawling back. Maybe you'll vote for him and maybe get their approval ratings up to, 21% or something.
So 2 days ago, I went on Amazon and I was looking for, it was a pots and pans organizer.
Okay.
Because we needed something. My wife was tired of stacking them underneath in this one cupboard. It just wasn't working. And so she was like, I can't find anything. And she's like that one who likes to, when there used to be Pier 1, she'd go to Pier 1 and spend like $100 on like a pots and pans thing. I'm like, you're a bad shopper.
Pier 1 is proud of their stuff.
Yes.
Call.
So I went on to Amazon and I found something for like $14.99. And I went, oh. And of course it's labeled like made in China. And I'm like, I guess this would have been $5.99 before, right?
Yeah.
Not noticing these tariffs.
Yeah.
No one's noticing these tariffs.
Right.
All of this talk about it being the price is going to be moved on to you. It hasn't happened. Economically, I'm still spending the exact same amount on all the stuff I have been, but my country is raking in the dough from these other countries.
I had to tell you, man, my grocery bill's gone down a little bit. So
yeah,
I feel
energy prices brought my groceries down.
I think everything's actually going even more swimmingly than we thought they could have. I always felt like Donald Trump knows what he's doing. We've had tariffs in the past. Did I know beyond a shadow of a doubt it was going to work? But I felt good about it.
We've never had a massive tariff policy since, like, was it 1915, 1918? It's
been hundreds
like
of
since
years.
the era of the Titanic.
Yeah.
We have not had a massive tariff policy in this country.
When I knew things were going to go well, here's how I knew. Every news channel told me it was going to be a disaster.
No, then we're good.
Every expert said it's going to be a disaster. This is going to be the worst thing ever. The Democrats preaching from the highest point they could get to cover as many people when all three of the evil trilogy starts talking, I'm like, I got you.
This is how it works. We explained it yesterday. Why do you keep reading articles? Experts say this, and it turns out to be wrong. You watch television. Well, the experts are saying, and then it turns out to be wrong. It's because the media has a story that they intend to tell, and they will find the people to quote in order to tell that story. They go fishing. It's a fishing expedition. So if I was to bring on, I don't know, JoJo from Jersey to do economic analysis. Right, to do economic analysis. She's going to go on from being a former Sizzler waitress and tell me about how all the Trumps are bad and this is what's happening.
Her and AOC both.
Right. Now, if I go bring on Scott Bessent, he's going to actually explain what's really going on. But the news media doesn't want to call Scott Bessent to ask him what's going on. They want the influencer. They want the person who's going to tell you it's bad because that's the messaging they want.
And if you recall, let's go back to Sunday when Scott Bessent, since you brought him up, disclosed that the U.S. has achieved its first June budget surplus since 2015. Massive tariff income, $27 billion just last month. That's the reason you don't ever see Scott Bessent on CNN, or at least not outside of those Sunday shows. They always put, because those are the hard news days, the Sundays.
So did that money appear because you got taxed for it, Tug? Because I didn't get taxed for it.
I didn't, but if I listen to CNN, that's what they're trying to convince me.
Actually, what happened is we told other countries, you're going to stop stealing from us.
This whole free trade charade is over.
Yes. There is as much free market economy. Yeah, cool. Free trade. Y'all never been free trade.
Yeah.
We've been free trade.
Only us.
Yes.
Only us.
Sounds great. We're all about freedom. We're America, damn it. Meanwhile, we're having to pay 30% tariffs to get into other markets. Suddenly, what happens when you got to pay us? You look at our import-exports. The amount of stuff that comes into this country is ridiculous because the world wants to sell to 330 million Americans.
That have an appetite to spend.
It's about time they have to pay the fee. There's a fee to get in here.
And Scott Bessent and Donald Trump have created it, and it's working.
And because there's a free market, what is happening, the response around the world, and this is, the experts didn't see this coming, those fees to get in here, those tariffs, they're not passing them on to the consumer because they don't want their goods to cost more so that another good that's maybe local or that was brought in by another country, hey, if let's say this. Let's say I have like vodka from Finland and there's a 30% tariff. I can pass that on to the consumer, but I'm going to be going up against domestic vodka, and maybe I might also be doing vodka from some other Scandinavian country, and that country has decided, yeah, we'll pay the 30%, but it's all on us. We're not passing it along to the consumer. Now yours is 30% more than everybody else.
Tito's is like, please, mark it up. Send it to your customers. We'll reap the benefits.
That is why these companies are saying, yes, we will be the ones to pay this. We do not want it passed along to the consumer because it hurts us in the American marketplace.
So if
the experts didn't see that coming.
They never do they?
You just have to be on Main Street, man.
The experts. Never listen to the experts. I want you to hear this lady lay it out for you. The victim mentality is what she's pointing out. The status symbol of the left, that victim mentality. And she explains it to a T.
More privileged kids are the ones who end up indulging in all of this nonsense because they're privileged. You know, if you're poor, you're too busy trying to figure out how to pay the mortgage. Whereas when you come from privilege, you feel guilty about your privilege anyway. And then you're going around looking for hats that you can put on. Oh, you know, today I'm gay, tomorrow I'm trans, etc. Actually, did you know my great-grandmother was black? Or whatever it is, to try and claim some victimhood so that you can be admired by your friends. Or I'm suffering from mental health issues, I'm doing X, Y, and Z. The schools are encouraging them in this way. They're teaching white kids to feel guilty and black kids to feel like they're victims, encouraging the whole trans stuff.
Dude, where have I heard that for? Taking off one hat and putting on the other. I feel like Front Office Lowe's shared that with you 2 years ago.
It's like they are all the same people. They just switched their hats that day. In the way I go from, hey, I'm going to be a Georgia fan, now I'm going to be a Braves fan today.
Yeah, exactly.
Like just switching hats, man.
That's all it is. That stood out to me. And then when she talked about rich kids being taught to be ashamed of their what they call privilege, the left calls privilege. Now, in some cases it is. Maybe that money was passed down to you, but somebody worked for that money. Somebody earned it. Somebody put in the blood, sweat, and tears. I don't look at anybody that's done well and go, man, I can't stand them. Instead, I do the exact opposite. Man, I hope I can figure out to do what they did in my own way to put myself in that position. That when she lays out that whole victimhood status that they've talked about, it really puts a spotlight on Zohan Mamdani up in New York. Came from privilege, eats with his fingers to look like he didn't, because he's trying to convince somebody that he is a victim too.
Oh, he's the fighter who's there to fight for you.
But because of victimhood, right?
Right, because you're the victim and I'm the way. Over history, the communist always tells you, I know who your enemy is, and I'm going to get them back for you. And that's how they end up coming into power. That's across the board. It's always, you're the victim, I'm just a commoner.
I'm
here to
with
help
my
you.
fingers just like you do.
I'm here to help you.
I can relate. I can relate. I've been there before.
Right. No, you haven't.
No, you haven't. No, you haven't. And I'm not mad at you for not having to eat with your fingers.
I think it was outside of Stalin and Chairman Mao. All of them are from privilege. Almost every single one of them are from privilege. Yes.
Yeah.
Che, if you never heard when we did that story time.
That was so good.
He grew up in a house with 3,000 books. All right, think about how many books you have in your home, and then imagine, add whatever to get to 3,000.
I mean, that's a library. That's not a bookshelf. That's a library.
This was not a commoner.
Yeah.
This was not he's just trying to get by.
How many people know that about him?
Not a lot.
The people that listen to the show that heard story time.
Hear all about these famous communists and how they all come from wealth and privilege.
He's got the military hat on, the beret.
Not the only guy who wasn't was Karl Marx, because he basically made his wife he was a freeloader. That's all he was, a German theorist and a freeloader.
And they all want you to follow them. Don't fall into the trap. I love the way she lays it out. That search for victimhood status. That's what the libs push. That's what they teach. And that's what they've taught in school forever. And they'll continue. With all the screaming and hollering about ICE and illegals, you'd think the polling might change. Next on Extra 106.3.
Wherever you are in Georgia, you can stream Extra 106.3 in crystal clear digital with the all-new Extra 106.3 app. Get Extra's live on-air stream in real time, or go back and listen to all your favorite shows, Neil Bortz, or original podcasts, no matter where you go. Grab the Extra 106.3 app now and start streaming.
Hey, it's Los. Let's talk about Tom, the honest car guy. Full transparency when you buy a vehicle. And I spent a little bit of time with Tom yesterday. He was giving me an update on some of the people he'd been working with. And so hopefully, Terry, you're listening. Told me a great story about you and how Tom was able to give you that transparent treatment, take you all the way from start to finish, and save you thousands of dollars on that car purchase. That is what Tom does with his system. Go to honestcarguy.com, honestcarguy.com, or give Tom a call, 844-SHOW-ME-1, 844-SHOW-ME-1. Tom will take you through the process. You just tell him, make and model. This is what I want, Tom. It just starts there. Here's what I want. He then starts searching all of his avenues where he can get access to cars from all around the country. That is the point where, as he's told me before, if you want it, I'll find it for you. Doesn't matter what it is, from, I think he said, like 1960 to 2026. If you want it, I'll find it for you. We'll get a price on it. And at that point, you're going to see he's going to save you thousands of dollars, because the traditional fees that apply with going through a dealership will not apply to your transaction. So what happens at the end? You know the price that he's paying for it. You just pay that price plus the Honest Car Guy fee. That's it. That's all. Terry experiences. I think she's going to come up and get a chance to visit with us, hopefully. She starts school next week. So, Terry, if you're listening, like I said, we're trying to make this all work out. Give Tom a call. Let us know. And go ahead, and you can always call Tom as well. 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1.
When you enter the financial red zone, it's time to start rethinking your financial strategies and protecting what you've built. Coach Pete, what should we consider in the financial red zone?
As we enter that financial red zone, which is over age 50, we must have some money put aside that's going to give us a guaranteed lifetime income. Without income, you don't have a retirement. Now, you get your Social Security, so work on maximizing that, but then you've got money in 401ks, 403bs, TSPs, IRAs, anywhere you have money, and it's a nice lump sum. But we need to figure out how much income you can get from the lump sum you have that's guaranteed for life. That takes all the worry out of in retirement. If you already know, you've already got the money put aside. You don't have to get a checkbook out. The money's already there. Just make sure it's in the right place to give you and your family that lifetime income you can never outlive.
For a comprehensive and customized retirement review, call Coach Pete's local trusted advisor, Craig Chandler of Chandler Wealth Management. 800-419-6164. 800-419-6164.
Securing America.
Tuesday marked the 250th anniversary of the creation of the U.S. Army's Chaplains Corps, established by then-General George Washington in 1775, about 6 weeks after the initial formation of the U.S. Army. The aim, to provide ministerial and moral support to the soldiers. Major General William Greene Jr. is the current Army Chief of Chaplains.
He needed individuals he could rely upon, and so those chaplains were there to care for those soldiers.
Sound courtesy of the Your Next Mission podcast. General Greene says things haven't changed much in 2.5 centuries.
We're still walking with our soldiers, ensuring that we care for them, showing compassion, love, and respect, but then also setting the conditions for them to help us as a nation to win.
There are more than 3,000 chaplains in the Corps and more than 500 chaplain candidates. Kevin Wierenski, Fox News.
I'm Chad Pergram with the Speaker's Lobby. Senate Republicans had to bring Vice President Vance to the Capitol recently to break two ties on procedural votes to begin debate on the bill to cut money for public broadcasting and USAID. Republicans have a 53-47 advantage in the Senate, but former Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, along with Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins of Maine, voted nay. That produced a 50-50 tie. Fox is told that some Senate Republicans are tiring of McConnell opposing the GOP and President Trump on various issues. Quote, "He used to be the leader. He was always telling us we need to stick together," said one GOP senator who requested anonymity. Now he's off voting however he wants. How time flies. Note that McConnell led Senate Republicans as recently as early January, but McConnell ultimately voted for the legislation when the Senate approved it 51-48, despite his votes to break the procedural hurdles. Murkowski and Collins were the only no's. The services of Vice President Vance weren't needed due to McConnell's aye vote and the absence of Democratic Minnesota Senator Tina Smith. With the Speaker's Lobby, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
Take a pause.
The ASPCA is launching its Rescue Effect campaign. What's that? This ad explains.
Every adoption creates space for shelters to give other animals the care they need.
The ASPCA is working to engage potential pet adopters, and they're putting their money where their snout is. $2 million will go to 100 animal shelters across the country.
You won't be paying an adoption fee because part of the $2 million from the ASPCA will cover those fees.
Krista Chadwick of the ASPCA says you can bring home a cat, dog, gerbil, whatever, and no adoption fees involved. But the nonprofit wants the public to know about other important work America's shelters do.
Municipal animal control support and enforcement, cruelty investigations, owner surrenders, all the services that shelters provide. There's just not enough money allocated to them.
So they're urging you to talk to state and local lawmakers to get more funding to shelters. Take pause. Jill Nato, Fox News.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Wednesday, July 30th. Atlanta-based Norfolk Southern Rail Company announced a historic merger with Union Pacific. The $250 billion merger marks the first transcontinental railroad in America. Norfolk Southern employs over 16,000 workers with over 3,000 in their Atlanta headquarters. 15 Georgia hospitals have been ranked among the highest in the country, according to U.S. News & World Report. Emory University Hospital ranked the highest from Georgia, followed by Emory St. Joseph's and Piedmont, Atlanta. Rankings were based on patient outcomes, including survival, complications, and readmission rates. And U.S. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene announced she will not enter the Georgia governor's race, citing concerns about the state of affairs in Georgia. Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones and Attorney General Chris Carr remain the only Republicans who have announced their intentions to run for the GOP candidate in next year's election. Today's weather, mostly cloudy. That'll keep the temperatures around 90 degrees. So we've got a small chance for thunderstorms this afternoon and evening. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
8 o'clock hour brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Call Chuck and his team for a maintenance agreement today at 770-GET-HEAT or go to centralheat.com. They are your Atlanta carrier experts. You'd think that there would be some kind of shift. You'd think there'd be some kind of movement in the polling after you hear the story of the Maryland dad.
He's just a dad. He got pulled over in the state of Tennessee. He's just minding his own business.
They sent him down there to El Salvador. Chris Van Hollen go down there to check on him.
They were doing horrible things to him.
Terrible. Dalton girl. What about Dalton girl?
It's in the country. She was brought here.
What about this sweet abuela?
Oh, the sweet abuela she was abducted in California.
That's right.
She was just trying to go to her job.
Awful. Just awful. These heart-wrenching stories that the left can't wait to serve up to you. Because most people react to it. They respond to it. I think most people genuinely care about other people. Are they perfect? No, of course not. But when you see a story that pulls at your heartstrings, you can't help but go, man, that's tough. That's really bad. Until you learn they're not real. Then that does take a little bit of the varnish off.
The Maryland man, that didn't work out well. Now, Dalton girl, that was a legitimate story. But this is what the law is. It's what it is.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but it's the law.
Yeah, that's right.
And sweet abuela, well, she acted like she was abducted. She took pictures of herself.
Completely lying.
And you had ICE who actually had to look into it to then go find her, and they found her in a mall in California, in Los Angeles, where she was just walking around doing her thing. She invented the whole thing, had her family have a press conference and have a GoFundMe, and it was all fake.
Every bit of it. And you would think after all of this, even maybe before, especially with the way liberals think, you would think that the nonstop negative media coverage from the Democrat, leftist, socialist, communist community banging the anti-ICE drum, they better not cover up their face. They're sweeping in like a terrorist, just grabbing people, disappearing them. You would think because of all of the heart-wrenching stories, all of the fabricated stories, all of the lies that you've heard, that the polling would move, that the polling would be affected, the American people, that they would react to it. But they've not. Interesting. This is a Fox News poll. Back in January of 2025, right when Donald Trump was taking office, the preferred U.S. policy on illegal immigration, immigrants being deported if they're charged with crimes, 59%. Now, fast forward, all of the stories that we just went through.
7 or 8 months.
You know what that number is? 59%. It has not budged at all because people want a safe America. They want to see kids being able to play in the streets and not have to worry about it. They want to be able to go to malls. Malls, bad example. They don't really exist anymore. Outdoor malls. They want to go to Avalon or whatever.
They want to go to Blockbuster Music.
That's right. But they do want to go to downtown Woodstock and not feel like that they got to look over their shoulder when they're out to eat. That's why the polling has not moved. Not 1 point.
This is not because of you or me. It's not because of the media. This is because what happened when Donald Trump came down the escalator and told you these were the primary issues. It took America the better part of a decade to go, man, not only is he right, he's super right given what the Biden administration did.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you have 76% of Americans when they talked about and this was the previous polling, 76 saying, hey, if they're here illegally and they've committed a crime, they're gone. All right, it's been hovering in that majority range. As you said, 59% has not changed.
Not budged, not once since January.
And the numbers have also held consistent of, even if you didn't commit a crime, you got to go because you committed a crime coming here. That was a belief that Donald Trump had from 2017 to 2021, and he was called racist for it. Remember, the wall was racist.
Yep.
This whole policy is racist. You making Mexico pay for that? That's racist. It was all racist. Now it's just all real. And they can't say anything about it. None of it's racist at all. Not one bit.
Like you said, it took better part of a decade for people to come around. It took that long for people to be comfortable saying what they really felt.
And that has been an interesting issue for me. Now, granted, I'm in a new neighborhood. People don't just like spill their guts to you.
Yeah, it takes a day or two, warm up.
But when we have the pool conversations and a couple of drinks in you, the amount of people that are saying, listen, I'm just concerned about what's going on in our schools, what's going on in our hospitals, what this is costing our society. Obviously, the Lake and Riley story hit people a lot deeper than the news media ever imagined. Like that is a common thought that goes on in people's homes when they have daughters.
Dude, when you have kids?
Yes.
You're telling me that this girl was going to the University of Georgia or was on a campus near Georgia and was jogging on the campus of the University of Georgia?
It's supposed to be part of the safest part of your life.
It's exactly right, dude. And the best part of your life. I mean, this is when you learn the most. This is when you're learning to be a young woman, learning to be a young man. And this woman had a goal of helping society by being a nurse. And she went out for a jog and was brutally murdered. It doesn't matter what you think of immigration. When something like that happens, it is going to affect you and affect the way you think. And if you remember those, 5-6 years ago, there were a lot of people that felt the way that polling reflects, but they weren't comfortable saying it. And once in a while, somebody would be like, hey, what do you think about? And you would have to have the corner conversation, right?
Yeah.
Those don't exist. The corner conversation is over.
Those don't exist anymore. In fact, I'll give you a story. This is well off the radar. But so I take you to Minnesota, and there's a headline that you'll find in their newspaper, the Star Tribune, from 2 days ago.
Dude.
Wisconsin driver charged with being drunk, causing crash that killed 2 Minnesota teens. There's a headline, right? One of the first responses, F you and your paper. This woman drove drunk without a license, a disabled interlock, here illegally, had a previous DUI, killed 2 innocent teenagers with their lives ahead of them. They were at a concert driving home, and this is what you write? Do you have kids? Deport her ass. We are devastated in this community. Say their names, you heartless piece of newspaper. That's the real mentality that's going on. So as much as you have the Star Tribune going like a Minnesota driver, no, an illegal alien here that wasn't supposed to be here, had already had a DWI, was turned loose before, then got drunk again and killed 2 teenagers. This is much more indicative and hits much more than you can tell me about Abuela who was abducted on her way to her job, which never happened. Tell me all about Dalton teenager, and yeah, sucks. This is what is why the polling hasn't changed. This is why it doesn't matter what the media has done. None of it's altering. And for every person that tells me about, look at the streets of L.A., there's nobody out here shopping. What a problem. I say, what a solution.
Yeah, right. Seems like things are going a little better than they were.
What did Charlie Murphy says? He needs some help. We just gave him some help.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
Every city, we just gave you some help, man.
And then, if you recall, they went on to lie to you. Remember Aurora, Colorado? In the apartment complex.
Yeah, they're not taking over apartments. No. Tug, you're silly for saying that. Why all this misinformation, disinformation? Turns out it was malinformation. It was true. They just didn't want it out there.
Tell you that, and now it's out there. It's well understood because people are so tired of being fed bull crap. They're sick of being fed that malinformation. They're sick of seeing kids lose their lives. They're sick of seeing just people taken advantage of, and it happens in every state in the country. When you think about how 10 million people on the conservative end.
And by the way, for the longest time, this was to a lesser extent, Florida. This was a California, New Mexico, Arizona, Texas issue. That's the way that illegal immigration went for years. Well, those states will have to deal with it.
It's not our problem.
It was such a problem in Biden's America, with the amount of people that flooded in, that you have stories as north as Minnesota. Just ponder that. This was traditionally a Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, California issue. And all the rest of the states were more than happy to be like, y'all bear the brunt of it. That's fine.
State. Now every state's a border state.
Minnesota driver. It's illegal who was drunk. Killed 2 kids in Minnesota.
Also in Athens, Georgia. That changed the dynamic of the conversation.
Via New York.
Right. Via New York.
Wait a minute. How did you get across the border? Well, I know how you got across the border. It was wide ass open.
Yep.
You ended up in New York by request, and then you found your way to Athens, Georgia.
Those two don't go together.
They're not supposed to. Like at some point, we're supposed to go, oh, it turns out you're here illegally and you have to go home.
Yeah.
That's why that polling hasn't changed one bit, Tug. And I don't think there's one thing about this. And again, I grew up with it because it's in Texas. It's in your face all the time.
Yeah.
No one dislikes this more than people that are here legally.
And that's why
or people that grew up here. When you'll have like South Texas, predominantly Hispanic, a lot of Spanish speaking. They can't stand illegal immigration. They're some of the most anti-illegal immigration people you'll find. This isn't about, hey, I'm brown, they look brown, I should be on that side.
We're on that team.
That's not how this is working. That's a media fabrication that you're fed. That in California, you get that because you have illegals supporting illegals. There aren't locals supporting illegals.
And the people that have moved here legally, those people suffer the same injustice as we do with driving down wages, driving up rents. They see that.
Yes.
They see it just as clearly as we do. That's why Donald Trump won the way he did with the demographics that he did.
I'd like to think that somewhere in the news media, like there's a part where they just go like, well, I mean, listen, they're Chinese and they're Japanese. They can all go together. Right. Like, do you not know the history there?
Right. Yeah. They don't. Yeah, this is like oil.
Well, look, they're all brown. They'll be fine together. No.
Not the way it works.
I'm telling you, I was around it quite a bit.
Not the way it works.
Does not work that way. But why does it happen that way in California? Why are the streets empty? Why is there less traffic? Because the illegals there support the illegals. The theory has been it's 1 in every 10 people in California is illegal. It might be 3 in 10.
Or 5.
It might be 30% of that state is filled with illegals. And even if it was 30%, suddenly you're losing seats. Like you're going to swing. That's going to be a huge battle for 2030. Good Lord, that next census.
That next census.
Man, I'm glad. I hope we're here for it. I hope we're still doing the show and rocking and rolling.
We will be.
Because that's going to be one of those where we're like, remember when we told you about this in 2025? Here, the fight's here now. This is going to be real bad. This is going to be a brawl.
We're getting on the front end of it again.
Yeah, just mark it down in your calendar. 2029, 2030, it going to be a bear.
Yeah, there will be safeguards as the census happens. If things work out the way that we hope they will, and J.D. Vance is the heir apparent.
But that's also why you have Chuck Schumer on the steps of Congress complaining about they want Jim Crow. Who's the party of Jim Crow, Chuck?
Your party. Not ours.
Yeah, we want legal voters. Imagine that. And we want people here legally that we then represent with the census. Not everyone, legal residents.
Say that out loud and see who disagrees with you.
Yes.
That's an 80-20 issue.
Come over to my pool. I'm going to give you an invite. Go over to my pool and let's talk about this.
8 out of 10.
You'll go home going, man, those people aren't kidding around anymore.
Yeah, dude, they're done with all this. D-O-N-E, done. Or, like my daddy used to say, done. D-U-N, done with it. First, it was Sydney Sweeney. Now it's alternative rock star Billie Eilish that has the left spitting and a cussing.
Oh, Billie.
All right. Sorry. Back to our Billy Madison conversation we had earlier. Next at Extra 106.3, Tug and Los until 10, 8 o'clock hour, brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert, 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Wednesday, July 30th. The Atlanta Braves lost last night 9-6 to the Kansas City Royals in KC, but more concerning was the injury to All-Star Ronald Acuna Jr. He is headed to the injured list with right Achilles tightness after leaving the game and exiting the stadium in a boot. Acuna will be reevaluated today. As for the rubber match, that is going to be a first pitch set for 2:10. You can hear that game on our sister station's brand new app, 680 The Fan. From the NFL, the shooter that targeted the league headquarters on Monday claimed to have CTE. 4 people, including an off-duty officer, were killed in that attack. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
The summer's got you thinking about hitting the road. And with back to school right around the corner, you need a vehicle built for the road and safe enough for the family. And Subaru of Gwinnett has it for you. Like the 2025 Subaru Outback, which will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive, plus up to 32 miles per gallon. And if you're up for adventure, it'll get you off the beaten path with up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance, more than the Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4. Or the 2025 Subaru Forester. the SUV for all you love. It's the right-sized SUV for all the adventures ahead, with a spacious and comfortable interior for everyone you want to bring along. And no matter where adventure takes you, it starts on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth with the amazing staff at Subaru of Gwinnett. They'll help you find the Subaru that you'll love and be there every step of the way for everything you need. Start your shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com.
I'm Gianna Gelosi with your Fox True Crime Minute. The home at the center of a Netflix TikTok cult documentary was raided last week. Federal and local law enforcement served a search warrant for alleged sex trafficking at a home owned by a controversial pastor, Robert Shin, the subject of the Netflix docuseries Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult. The warrant was also issued for allegations of tax evasion, mail fraud, money laundering, and COVID-19 pandemic-related accusations. Shin is the pastor of a religious nonprofit he calls the Shekinah Church. He also runs a management company, 7M Films, that recruits young dancers, many of whom accused him in the docuseries of unsolicited sexual advances and manipulation techniques, also claiming Shin was controlling from their dances to their financial decisions, making them turn over a large portion of their money to the church. Shin filed a defamation suit against the former church members who countersued. That case is now set to begin in October. There's more on this story at foxnews.com or subscribe to the Fox True Crime Podcast. I'm Gianna Gelosi with your Fox True Crime Minute.
I'm Ashley DeVorkin with the Fox Celebrity Profile with Adam Sandler, Julie Bowen, and Christopher McDonald of the long-awaited comedy sequel, Happy Gilmore 2.
There's some chaos in his own life this time, and he's just trying to get through it, and then he's going to let it out on the golf course in the most positive way he can.
I said, thank God we're going to make one. Yes, we're going to make a sequel. That was like that, because I've been campaigning it for a long time.
Sandler's daughters are part of the cast, too, and he shared advice he's given them as they continue to build careers in this business.
You've raised them right.
Be nice to everybody.
Be nice to everybody.
In the crew.
Like, don't just be nice to the fancy people.
The crew is all you got. Yeah. Anybody who's making too much cash, you can give them a snap.
As Gilmore goes to his happy place for his golf game in the movie, the star shared what their happy place is.
Getting a good haircut.
There you go.
When I get the perfect haircut, I'm in the best mood.
If it's not with my kids, I get this great dog. She sleeps with me every night.
What's the dog's name?
Her name's Gertrude.
Gertrude lays in the bed with you?
She goes under the cover. She's one of those little burrowers.
Oh, down by the feet?
Down by the feet.
Ashley DeVorkin, Fox News.
It's July 30th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today is National Cheesecake Day, the perfect dessert at the end of a big meal. The history of the cheesecake dates back to ancient Greece, as the sweet treat was fed to athletes. A typical cheesecake recipe uses cream, cottage, or ricotta cheese, along with sugar and eggs. After that, you can let your imagination run wild on other ingredients you wish to use. So whether your style of cheesecake is New York, Chicago, or Philly, just remember to include your favorite toppings. Also on this date, in 1965, President Lyndon Johnson signed Medicare into law. The program would officially go into effect the following year. And in 1975, Teamsters President Jimmy Hoffa disappeared in suburban Detroit. He would be declared legally dead in 1982, and many believe his body is buried somewhere in the parking lots of the home stadium of the New York Giants in New Jersey. I'm Tushar Saxena, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
Don't let your afternoon drive get bogged down with traffic and weather breaks. Just enjoy the Kimmer Show from 3 to 6 p.m.
And if we reduce the percentage point by 1 point, we make $300 billion. I don't know whether that's good or bad for me. I have no idea. I got a monthly statement going, oh my God.
They don't charge you for that statement because that's costing them money at this point.
But the envelope's getting thinner and thinner.
Just say, your bi-monthly pay insult.
Don't worry, it's only the Kimmer on Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
I think Taylor Swift's really talented. I think that Billie Eilish is really talented. I like listening to both of their music, and a lot of people be like, Taylor Swift. I think she's incredibly talented.
I like listening to Billie Eilish, and I think her brother is equally as talented.
Yeah, I don't know much about him, but I've seen them play together.
That's their deal.
Yeah,
they write together, create together.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, he's more of like the quiet musician type.
Yeah. And she's not afraid to, be out there, be eccentric, hair colors and all that sort of stuff. But I'm telling you, I think she's so good. Problem is, she done pissed off the left.
Oh, no.
She done. At first, it was Sydney Sweeney. Sydney Sweeney is a country artist. Sydney Sweeney. And the whole American Eagle ad. Man, they were furious. They can't believe that that American Eagle would create such a Nazi ad. That's what they took away from it. And as Los pointed out earlier in the show, I mean, if you ask 8 out of 10 people, will go, yeah, it's a pretty girl in a
hot girl in a jeans ad.
Seems like
maybe even 9 out of 10 at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you really got to be out there to be like, oh, I see Nazi.
Yeah, you have to.
all I heard was eugenics.
That's right. You have to stretch. I mean, that's a stretch, dude. I mean, a real stretch. Billie Eilish, though, apparently, and I don't know this to be the truth, and but I read last night that her last name is O'Connell. So an Irish last name would make sense. She's not from Ireland, but when she was playing there, she dared to say it was cool that when she goes there, people look like her.
As you guys know, I'm Irish, so it's cool to be here. I am not from here, obviously, but it's really cool to come somewhere and like everybody looks exactly like you. You're all just as pasty as me.
All just as pasty.
Okay, that's funny because kind of her look is she's pasty,
very pale.
She's not like the pop star hot
tan
sort of. Yeah, it's like she's kind of her own weird girl.
Yeah.
So
but cool, but super cool.
Right. But so when she goes to Ireland, she's like, oh, everyone looks like me. That's got to be kind of comforting.
I would think so.
What's the big deal?
I would think so. According to Yahoo.com and People.com, O'Connell is her last name. So that's confirmed. So she goes and says, hey, it's cool to play in front of people that look like me. And what does the left do? You cannot be proud of the people looking like you coming to your concert.
Are they too Irish and too white? I think they're too white before they're too Irish.
Right, yeah. The problem is you can't be proud of who you are or where you're from.
There's a self-hating, self-loathing that in order to be part of that clique, and when it comes to writing or programming, being in any sort of medium, you have to start by saying, oh, I don't like myself. And then you go from there. So if I write stories, like for instance, if you were to write a story about why Sydney Sweeney is a horrible person and blonde-haired, blue-eyed people are overrated, you need to be blonde-haired and blue-eyed in their world. Mm-hmm. You have to start with self-loathing in order to be able to criticize in the way that they want you to.
And the fact that she's celebrated her heritage, you know what that makes her, don't you? A Nazi.
Oh.
And that's
she's an Irish Nazi?
It's what she was being called.
Oh, man. Billie Eilish.
Of all people. I don't know. I don't know her politics. I have any idea what her politics are, or if she even has politics.
Yeah, I don't care,
and I don't care either. I'm like you, dude. For whatever reason, I can put it aside with music. I love music enough to do it. Music and movies and TV, I struggle with. I have a hard time putting it aside. Maybe it's because it's visual. I see it in front of me. Music is just kind of what you interpret it as. But now, because she made the fatal mistake of saying that she's proud that those people look like her. These people, the left has turned on her like they turned on Donald Trump. Remember how much they loved it? And I'm not trying to compare the two as individuals or what they believe in, but you remember how viciously they turned on Donald Trump? Oprah used to sit him down and say, would you ever think about running for president? We think you should.
I say this with love. Billie Eilish is the kind of Irish descendant that if she walked out in the sun, you'd be afraid she's going to catch on fire.
That's right. Or have severe sunburn.
Yes, okay? So when she looks around and sees other people like that, that's comforting to her. There's nothing wrong with that. Have you ever done where you've gone to see where your parents live or your grandparents or people that are your ancestors?
And you're like, holy cow.
That's kind of cool.
Dude, I'll give you an example of that. The house that Jacob grew up in before we moved about, I think when he was 12, 13, 14, whatever it was, he always, for a long time, he always wanted to drive just to see the old house. It was comforting for him.
Sure. Let's say, for instance, because my grandmother is Spanish in origin. If I was to trace it all back and head back to Spain, and turns out I found out that my great-great-great-grandfather was a slave owner, am I suddenly all about slavery?
Well,
because I found out about this and I looked into it and I just wanted to go see where the home country was from with the family.
Depends on who you ask.
Right.
if you ask the wrong person.
How ridiculous must that be?
Remember, because that was the got you, and it was a little funny when they did it on
Sunny Hostins.
Sunny Hostins, they found out, they did the DNA.
Your ancestors were slave owners. She was like,
oh my God, this is terrible. It's the worst day of my life. I'm horrible. It's just self-hatred. You got to go back to it.
I mean, I hate to point it out, but over the course of history, anyone with status, there was a better than zero chance they owned slaves. I mean, we had an entire history of if you conquered a foe, they were then your slaves.
You enslaved them, yep. It happened over and over and over again. I just hope she doesn't go back, and I don't expect that she will.
I think she's just weird enough not to care.
I hope that's the case.
That's what I like about her.
The
she's weird.
last thing I hope she does is apologize for what she said.
And if she's not weird, I enjoy the fact that she's made me think she's weird.
You're right, as she's playing the game. Like they did in the early 80s with Ozzy worship. I'm the devil worshiper guy.
If you remember like Napoleon Dynamite, okay, that movie's now 20-something years old. And the way Napoleon would talk, like he just didn't care. All right, dial it down by like 50%, and that's what Billie Eilish sounds like at some point. Like, Billie, what do you think about the concert tonight? I don't care.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Where are y'all going to play next?
I don't
really even know.
Right, yeah.
Like, I love that.
Yeah.
But then you know it's a little bit of an act. Like, she was on Hot Ones. That is the
where they eat the wings
YouTube-based show where they eat the 10 wings and they get progressively hotter. She ended up jumping off. Again, I watched it because I was like, okay, I'm kind of curious about who Billie Eilish is. She comes across as a regular cool girl, and she jumps off the table and starts doing laps because it's so hot. Like she's running because she's trying in her mind, like maybe this will end the pain in my face. It was fun.
It is good.
So yeah,
I love it.
Hate on Billie Eilish, right? But at some point, we're going to have her on so she can be the Morning Extra's own Billie Eilish.
I'm hoping. Got my fingers crossed because I like her music a whole lot.
We got to get one interview with her.
Yeah, it's all
one question.
That's all we need. That's all we need.
That's the goal. Maybe. We want to, whenever we have somebody on, they become the Morning Extra's own.
That's right.
Or friend of show, either one of them. And we have quite an extensive list now. If we can just get one question with her, she joins.
And she doesn't have a choice in the matter.
No,
I mean, that's it.
No,
we
we're
don't
going to make this happen.
We just say you are.
We do have a list though of like people we need to add to that roster.
Oh, like Donald Trump.
Like it'll probably
because we had Laura, we had Eric.
Yeah. We went down that road. We've gotten
Trump
closer
Jr.
and closer. We've gotten the Trumps. I think we still at some point when they're probably out of service and they head back to whatever job. Like I don't think we can probably get Marco Rubio right now, but there's a possibility. There's some people like that where like it's hard to get Ted Cruz on unless he's pushing something nationally because Ted is about Texas.
Yeah,
like can you come on in Georgia?
God bless him. And it seems like Billie is just about being who she is.
Yeah.
And saying it out loud.
You go, Billie Eilish.
Which is not allowed. Don't you dare say you're
If you want to point out other pale people, that's fine to me.
Yeah. Y'all are all pasty like me. And it was that's the other thing. It's so
lovingly, like y'all are all pasty like I am.
Self-deprecating, right? She's just poking fun.
She wasn't like, y'all are all pasty and I'm glad I can afford a tan. It's like, no, she's like, y'all are all pasty like me. We're all pasty.
Morning Extra at Extra 106.3. When we continue, Wes Moore knows why black voters are not voting Democrat anymore. Talk about that next after a Fox News update. Neil Bort's report for that. 8 o'clock hour brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning.
Time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Okay, I truly don't even know where to start with this. The left is getting so unhinged. We're actually going to talk about Sydney Sweeney. If you don't know who she is, well, she's pretty gorgeous. Nice body. And an especially nice caboose, if you will. So she's doing an ad for American Eagle, who I think they make jeans or something. And in this ad, the narrator says, Sydney Sweeney has great jeans. And it shows a view of her from behind, and as I like to say, she sure does take the shape out of those jeans. Then there's a billboard Sydney Sweeney has great genes, Genes. She crosses out that word on the billboard and inserts Jeans. Okay, you got the picture. The left, especially on TikTok, is saying that this is all Nazi propaganda and it's racist and it's eugenics. One leftist said, praising Sydney Sweeney for her white, blue-eyed appearance is a racist dog whistle. When those traits are uplifted as genetic excellence, we know where this is headed. Then somebody says, well, I like a big booty. This person is black. So that means that promoting Sydney Sweeney's booty is racist, and it promotes white supremacy. No, I'm not kidding, folks. That's what people are saying. Then a trans writer, I don't know what its pronouns are, said that promoting Sydney Sweeney's genes is Nazi stuff. It's a Nazi way, totally. So nothing earth-shaking here today, folks. Just wanting to let you know how absolutely unhinged and crazy the left can get in this country. And while we're at it, let's hear it for good genes, especially Sydney's. Neil Bortz Extra 106.3.
Dogs can hear 4 times farther than humans can, which makes it even more impressive how they manage to ignore you so effortlessly.
The Kimmer Show every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app. WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. The 9 a.m. hour is presented by Southern Exteriors. Quality and precision you can rely on.
Dave Anthony, Fox News. There was growth during the spring, more than expected, after shrinkage for the GDP to start the year.
3%. Consumer spending coming in higher by 1.4%. But again, this is higher than expectations.
Fox Business Network Cheryl Casoni, the 3% GDP growth in the second quarter compares to a half-point contraction in the first. That prompted President Trump to post on Truth Social another call for Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell to cut interest rates. He has insulted Powell numerous times, demanding a big cut, but Powell may not give in to that pressure. The Fed not expected to cut rates in an announcement this afternoon. Now, President Trump also posted on Truth Social that Friday's tariff deadline will not be extended as he readies charges on imports from countries around the world. He also posted the tariff for India will be 25%. More tsunami alerts are being downgraded or canceled after a lot of worry about big waves.
After one of the strongest earthquakes ever to hit Russia's Far East, which triggered emergency evacuations, sending millions fleeing for higher ground in the Russian region, northern Japan, Hawaii, and the west coast of the U.S. Residents in Hawaii, which was bracing for the most severe impact, now allowed to return home.
Fox's Lillian Wu. The biggest wave recorded was almost 6 feet in Maui. 3 people are due in court this hour in Cincinnati, accused in a brawl that's been watched over and over online.
Cincinnati police say 3 of the 5 people charged in connection with the fight have been arrested and face assault and aggravated riot charges. It happened early Saturday and involved about 100 people, according to the Cincinnati police chief, who called it a, quote, violent attack. The FBI has opened a federal investigation into the incident, which went viral online after videos were shared on social media.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers in Birmingham, England. Thousands of Ozzy Osbourne fans paying a final tribute to the rock icon, watching a procession led by a hearse carrying Ozzy's body to a private funeral. America's listening to Fox News.
A couple years ago, I was in the bathroom at the airport when I dropped my smartphone in the toilet. Not smart. I was multitasking when I should have been focused on the job at hand. Embarrassing, but I'm not alone. According to Google, 7 million other multitaskers accidentally dropped their phones into the bowl last year. A gentle reminder that right now you can get yourself a brand new Samsung Galaxy A36 absolutely free with a $35 plan from Pure Talk. The A36 comes with scratch-resistant Gorilla Glass and a battery that'll last all day, along with unlimited talk, text, and data on America's most dependable 5G network. In other words, it's tough and smart. Something to think about next time you're multitasking in the necessary. Just dial pound 250, say keyword Mike Rowe to get your free phone today. You can make the switch in just 10 minutes. That's pound 250. Say Mike Rowe to switch to a no-nonsense smartphone and a company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Wake up with the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3 Atlanta.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra at Extra 106.3. A lot of discussion about the earthquake on the peninsula in Russia, the possibility of tsunami. I know that some of those waves are hitting the West Coast now, but they do feel like, or at least everything that I've read points to, that it's not going to be as drastic as something we saw in 2004 or 2011.
I kind of got fooled.
Those tsunamis. Why?
Because when I saw that this occurred, this massive earthquake, because anything 8.0, 8.8, I don't know if you've seen, it causes the poles to shudder. It's crazy when the earth shakes that hard. Then you expect, because of that area of the world, hey, tsunami warning, be on the lookout, this thing might be coming, and it moves at hundreds of miles an hour. So then, fortunately, just to get and they were showing on the West Coast, the waves were 1.5 feet higher. Again, it's thousands of miles away, and yet it made the waves 1.5 feet higher.
Water levels,
fortunately, not
8
feet higher, 10 feet higher. So that part is the good stuff. But I did spend quite a bit of time last night trying to stay up going, what's supposed to be an hour out? What's supposed to be 30 minutes out? And then I fell asleep. And then I woke up, and now I'm I think it had already hit by now, but it was nothing.
Well, the experts, I don't know that I trust them much anymore.
At this point, it's just the warning system is there so that people have time. Part of what happened in 2004, we did not have an extensive warning system. So there's think about it. This is not a matter of it was a fire and 1,000 people died, or there was an earthquake and 1,000 people died. 220,000 people died from that thing in 2004.
Yeah, it's unreal, those numbers. Incredible.
No warning. You had seismologists around the world that were something's happening here, but there was no warning system to really speak of.
And I don't recall if it was this incident or not, but I do remember reading about animals
taking off. Yes.
And
headed to the high ground.
Yeah, what's happening? They just had that sense. Animals are so dialed into that kind of stuff.
When you see the water get basically sucked back into the ocean, they explain that process of how once that occurs, it's coming back with a vengeance. It's that is one of the big signs, get inland. Get inland, as quickly as possible.
Hurricanes do that too, don't they?
Hurricanes.
Where they empty out a little bit.
It's weird, because I saw this in Florida. When we had the last big hurricane, the one that ended up hitting Neal Boards, and they dealt with that, the power was so much that it actually took water out of the Gulf to where, our area of Florida that we used to own in, you could see 20 feet further than you normally could. That it was just sand, because that water had basically been dumped all into Central Florida.
Goodness, man. Yeah, the earth is something that we still have no idea about. There's so many things that we have no clue about: the depths of the ocean, outer space, and then the things that are just right in front of us. They always say the science is settled.
And that's when the whores come in. The UAPs, their underground bases. Oh God!
Down the hall.
Here he goes.
Down the hall.
So we got clearance from management, and Jerry, you're gonna have to be on this with us as far as what we're gonna write here, because it's gonna take some nuance. So Kelly Kroll has been announced. She is joining the company as a regular contributor. She'll be part of the Buck Belue show, but she'll be working with the morning show, and she'll be kind of bouncing around. This is the former Braves reporter. She's been with us. Now, she hasn't been on our show, but she's been down the hall on the left quite a number of times.
Down the hall on the left.
Nice Missouri girl, tennis player.
Yep.
She was on the Braves broadcast for a number of years.
Yep.
It just salt of the earth. Nice.
Terrific
girl.
lady.
Here's the fun part. What I would like to do is invite that lady to come into our studio, and we're going to give her, again, management's already approved, the 10 things you can't say on our sister station, or else you'll be vanquished down the hall to us.
You'll be shipwrecked and lampooned on Extra 106.3 Island.
Like within the top 10, as they when you give me an example of what you're saying, I just go, number 8, COVID was a plandemic.
Do not.
All right, that's going to send you down the hall to work with us if you happen to say that. So these are what we have to come up with, and they all have to be a little nuanced. There will be an aliens one.
Number 3, do your own research.
Yeah, right.
I was going to say, they'll have to be, something that, again, we'll have to venture down the Kennedy assassination road.
Masks don't work.
Yeah, don't say masks don't work. just a little idea. Don't ever say masks don't work. If you're having a Halloween discussion, Don't even say it then.
No, because you will be sent down the hall.
Because Buck will stop talking, and he'll just be on you, and you'll just be stuck. And then before you know it, you'll be working mornings with us.
Although quietly. Quietly.
He knows what not to say, what he actually thinks.
Yeah, right. He does not always share his thoughts with you.
Number 7, never say guns are good.
You cannot. Even G.I. Joe, even Nerf, you can't even pretend to like Nerf guns.
Don't do that. So yeah, we'll come up with a list that we can go through with her.
It'll be some kind of fun.
But congratulations, it'll get around her. But yeah, she's a very cool lady.
Marty has a great observation out of the last segment that we did when we were talking about Billie Eilish, the entertainer. She had said while playing in Ireland, her last name O'Connell, that it was great to see people that looked like her. Pasty, she made it fun. She was a little self-deprecating. Marty, what's on your mind at 404-741-1230?
Hey, good morning, guys. Just first off to say that, if Kelly does get a shipwreck with you guys, she'll be in good company.
I hope so.
You're very kind.
Thank you, Marty.
So, yeah, it just shows you the limitless hypocrisy of the left when it comes to stating what Billie Eilish stated in front of her audience. How many politicians have you heard? There's people who look like me on the ballots, or people who say, or celebrities who say that, I'm glad there's folks out there that look like me, who are listening to my music. It goes along part and parcel with the whole left side. Now they're going against someone who says basically the same thing. It's just hypocritical.
It always is.
It's funny you bring it up. Obama went on the campaign trail for Kamala Harris and did the exact same thing, as they knew they had a problem with black men, especially young black men. And the response back that was mostly all generated through social media was, "What are you talking about? She's Indian." It's like, she's the only one who shares your experience.
That's exactly right.
She's the only one who knows.
That's not a bad impression, dude. That's actually really good.
And the audience is going, wait, she's not black.
And we had people call into this show and made that exact same comment.
Yet they're willing to tell you have to do this to be this. Yet Billie Eilish can't say, wow, we're all Irish together. Y'all are pasty like me, but I'm not from here, but it's comforting to see it. And suddenly Billie Eilish is a problem.
Yeah, she's a Nazi. And then enter Maryland Governor Wes Moore. He knows exactly why.
Ooh, I don't know if he's running.
Yeah.
There's a little bit too much honesty to maybe be running. We'll see.
I think we've got to start making sure that this is not something that we're doing because of an electoral strategy, but something that we're doing because we actually care about the prospects. Because it is true that we have a justice system that has been targeting and weighted against black men. We have an education system that has been deliberate about the way that we are criminalizing and punishing black boys when we're watching the results of our young black boys continue to downgrade, and we are actually then turning around and blaming the black boys for their failure. Not the system, not the structure, but the young men.
Yeah.
Blaming them. We do have a system of employment where we make it more difficult for black men to be able to enter into the employment market. We do have a system that makes basically every sentence a life sentence, that when someone comes back from incarceration, we make it deeply challenging for them to be able to get public housing, challenging for them to be able to get a student loan, challenging for them to get a home loan, challenging for them to reintegrate with their families. And then we wonder what's going on with black men and why they're not voting for us.
Interesting the things that he goes through. He basically is saying all of these reasons are the reasons that black men are not voting for Democrats. And I would just push back gently and say, you mean the same system that elected you governor of Maryland? That same system?
This is why I say I'm not sure if he's looking to run nationally. Like, I think he's more than happy doing what he's doing. And it's because you're actually doing what we see that's a failed policy. You're criticizing the system that you helped create and that you're the chief executive of.
That's right. Dude, I was right now. He is the system.
He is the system. He's not beyond the system. You're the governor of the state. You are the system. Like, this is what it is. Now, there is one area that I 100% completely agree with him on, but this is a discussion about sometimes there's consequences. Yes, when you go away and then you come back and re-enter society, you're no longer treated like a citizen at all in this country. You don't vote. You don't have the same ability to live where you want to. You have the issue.
Depending on the crime.
Across the board. I don't care what level of felon you are.
Yeah, but it's got to be a felony level crime.
Right. But if I happen to have a felony conviction for, let's just say I ran a car theft ring, you killed somebody, we have the same level of not being able to access the other parts of society. That's the one area where I'd go, okay, I'm open for discussion there on a case-by-case basis. But that's the one part where he talked about where I go, okay, I can see the point, but you're still talking about, how do we get these people to reacclimate into society? What I would say is, how did you not get them to be part of society to start with, and how they ended up in this situation? You're saying it's the system, but you are the system.
And then teaching people that they're victims.
Yes,
Again,
the victim mentality.
Always the victim card. I'm here to save you from it.
I'll fix it for you.
And it just never is. And here's the thing, even with your example of voting, which I would listen to, there's a kernel of truth in what he's saying, but he's like the National Enquirer. He takes a kernel of truth and writes an entire article that is fabricated about it.
His most honest moment there, in my opinion, was, and now they're not voting for us. Like, that's the hurt moment. He's trying to tell you, listen, I get your plight. I see your problems. But you're appealing to a lowest common denominator. Now, if you want to spend the time talking about, felons and trying to get back into society, the only other thing he was talking about was job. Well, that's about economic opportunity. And economies, in my opinion, is all about meritocracy if you leave them alone. So you're telling me that these people are not being hired because they don't merit it enough? Well, what are you teaching them? Why do we go through Baltimore schools and Maryland in general, and the nice areas of Maryland, the private schools do extremely well, yet your public schools are crap?
1 out of 8 eighth graders can't read on grade level.
Can't read.
That's nationally. Angela Morabito shared that with us a dozen times. Every time she's been on, she's talked about that. And then you still have those leads, those heads of the teachers' unions who, I don't know if you've heard them lately, they're not talking about teaching math and science. They're talking about resisting Donald Trump at every meeting, on the stage. Randy Weingarten, and I know that's the second biggest. I can't remember the lady. It's Pringle, maybe is her last name, that runs the NEA, the biggest teachers union. That's all they talked about, was resist Donald Trump. How do we teach our kids at an early level to resist what they call fascism and Donald Trump? Never once, Los, did they mention reading or writing or arithmetic.
You go back 5 years. There was a woman who, she created a stir in Baltimore. Her name was Kimberly Classic. And she was running to basically be the GOP representative. And she did the ad where she's like walking through the streets and pointing out, like, here's all the stuff that's wrong with Baltimore. Now I'm here to fix it. Well, she didn't win. One of the main things she brought up is, and this is the number she had, and it's backed up, 9 out of 10 black male students are unable to read at grade level in Baltimore. 9 out of 10. And then you have Wes Moore having the nerve to tell you, well, why don't you vote for us? Well, why don't you educate us?
Give me a reason to vote for you.
Give me a reason.
Because that's not it.
Show me something.
But they can't. They're married to power and wealth, and that all is generated. And you can see it at every section, whether they're in a city council, a school board, on a teachers union, or the governor of the state.
They're married to keep you under the thumb. And as long as you're under the thumb and voting for them, everybody's happy.
But
now that they're not, is when Wes Moore then makes it a point. That's when they're upset. Replacement theory, explain this. It's different from place to place. Replacement theory was never about, in this country, white people being replaced. It was about the minority voters that were leaving the Democrat Party, and the Democrats having to reinforce their numbers with people that they could maintain their representation in Congress, their power. Hey, we're losing large amounts of the black vote now, and we're losing half the Hispanic vote. What do? Bring in the next subservient class. That's replacement theory. That's what he's upset about.
And I want to play you a guy that has realized that. This dude, when he brings up the whole Obama, and this ties to the Donald Trump, the Russiagate thing, but he's one of those voters now that no longer votes for Wes Moore. He's one of those voters that are sick and tired of his community being used by the Democrat Party. He's left the Democrat Party. And listen to what he says about Obama and immunity. The folks like Wes Moore do not want you hearing from men like this.
Y'all mother know Obama wrong, and this how I know y'all mother know Obama wrong. Why ain't nobody on the news outlet saying that Obama is innocent? Why ain't none of the Democrats on the news outlet saying Obama is innocent? I ain't seen not one Democrat say Obama not guilty of the that they accusing him of. I ain't seen none of that. Want me to tell you what I see Democrats saying? I see you saying he got immunity. The fact that y'all saying this man got immunity, that let me know he did the bull. That let me know y'all know he did it, and that let me know the only thing y'all can say is he got immunity. That means it don't matter. It don't even matter if y'all know he did it because he got immunity. That's the craziest in the world. Y'all know the wrong.
Love that dude. Love that guy.
I never thought I would get around to the day where Donald Trump culturally would be back where he was probably about 10 years ago. Trump was always represented in hip-hop, and especially New York-based hip-hop, where wealth and power, and it's like it was always what it was. And now everything is cycled back to, man, you put him in a mugshot, and you tried to take his money, and he got the job back. I was like, he's back to being that OG status.
That's right.
And so when you hear how the worm is turning within the black community, where more and more people are moving away from Barack Obama. We had the gentleman last week who was calling him Mr. Obama and Mr. Obama.
Yeah.
Talking about him being, the culture's moving away from Obama. It's moving back to Trump.
And that's what Wes Moore sees.
Yes, that's what he's concerned about.
Because that guy goes on later in the cut that we didn't play, he calls himself a conservative. I don't know what that means to him. I don't know because the tent has gotten so big, I don't know what it means to him, but I can sure relate to what he said.
Can I give you one more Baltimore stat?
Sure.
Okay, this is from February. 628 students tested. 71 tested at kindergarten level when it comes to reading. 88 were at first grade. 45 were at second grade. 32% were at second grade reading level. They were tested. These were 628 high school students.
Oh, my God. Reading on a first and second grade level.
Or 71 on a kindergarten level.
And
the schools are failing them.
And Wes Moore wants to know why they're not voting for him?
And why the parents aren't voting?
Why no one's voting
You
for him.
put us in this horrible place, and then you're sitting back saying, but give me the vote, I'll fix it.
Ben, you've had how long to fix it?
The same people that are like, school choice, no, you can't have that.
No, they're dead against it. They rally against you having a choice. Unreal. When we continue on Xtra 106.3, the medical industry has not been able to skirt their responsibilities. Not in the eyes of one man. He's going to hold them accountable. The 9 o'clock hour is brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your home exterior solution since 1999, 8779 Southern, southernexteriors.co. Windows, doors, siding, roofing, and gutters.
I give you another great piece of information on Donald Trump's economy.
Yeah.
We'll do that next.
On Xtra.
Live and local news talk continues at 3 p.m. with Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. It's the Kimmer Show, only on Xtra 106.3 and the Xtra app.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and relevant life and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid courses. Classes start August 13th. Apply now and save with no application fee. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
You could save big when you bundle your auto, home, motorcycle, RV, or boat. Visit progressive.com.
There's a new vibe in Tucker, and it's teeing off at Heritage Golf Links. After a multi-million-dollar renovation, the course has never looked better. From pristine new greens and bunkers to the stunning 11,000 square foot putting green, Heritage Golf Links is ready to impress, challenge, and deliver an unforgettable round you'll come back for again and again. And when the sun goes down, the game keeps going. Our one-of-a-kind night range is lit up and open Friday and Saturday nights until 10 p.m. so your swing can shine under the lights. So, whether you're practicing, playing, or just enjoying the full-service bar and grill, Heritage Golf Links is the perfect place for golfers who want more than just a round. Heritage is a destination and a better golf experience. Reserve your tee time at heritagegolflinks.com. That's heritagegolflinks.com.
Located just minutes from downtown Atlanta, Heritage Golf Links is easily accessible from I-285 and I-85.
Fox Country.
I'm Michelle Polino. Luke Bryan is the latest artist to get hit by a flying object on stage. The country star and American Idol judge was performing his final song at the North Dakota State Fair Sunday when a mini plush ball was tossed and hit him mid-song. Video posted on TikTok shows the 49-year-old briefly stepping back before shaking it off and finishing the performance without missing a beat. One fan captioned the clip, "Carried on like a champ." Another slammed the incident online, writing in part, "There's no excuse for this." Bryan joins a growing list of artists targeted on stage in recent years, most notable pop star BB Rexha, who was hit in the face with a phone in 2023. And John Michael Montgomery is going back home to play his final show. The country legend announced that his last show is scheduled for December 12th at the Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky. That's Fox Country on Fox News.
Fox on Tech.
Microsoft wants you to start browsing with artificial intelligence. Microsoft's Edge browser now has a new experimental Copilot mode integrated with its AI-backed personal assistant. The company wants to help you browse the web in a new and more comprehensive way, saying web browsing has essentially not changed or progressed in decades. With the new mode enabled, users can have Copilot browse for them or even help them understand the content of a particular page, or summarize results into one presentation, or complete tasks such as booking that hotel room near the beach for which they searched. The mode is still being improved upon based on the experience of users, though Microsoft is promising to protect users' data security. People should expect to see Copilot mode evolve over time. It is available to Microsoft users who already have access to Copilot features within their apps. With Fox on Tech, I'm Evan Brown, Fox News.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Wednesday, July 30th. Atlanta-based Norfolk Southern Rail Company announced a historic merger with Union Pacific. The $250 billion merger marks the first transcontinental railroad in America. Norfolk Southern employs over 16,000 workers with over 3,000 in their Atlanta headquarters. 15 Georgia hospitals have been ranked among the highest in the country, according to U.S. News & World Report. Emory University Hospital ranked the highest from Georgia, followed by Emory St. Joseph's and Piedmont, Atlanta. Rankings were based on patient outcomes, including survival, complications, and readmission rates. And U.S. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene announced she will not enter the Georgia governor's race, citing concerns about the state of affairs in Georgia. Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones and Attorney General Chris Carr remain the only Republicans who have announced their intentions to run for the GOP candidate in next year's election. Today's weather, mostly cloudy. That'll keep the temperatures around 90 degrees. So we've got a small chance for thunderstorms this afternoon and evening. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
9 o'clock hour brought to you by Southern Exteriors, home exterior solutions since 1999, based in Jackson, Georgia, serving all the metro Atlanta. 200,000 jobs under their belt. 8779 southernexteriors.co is the number. Front office Los, we have some incredible economic news.
We sure do. So this has now been out for just about 20 minutes now. So your QT GDP, the expectation, the projection was at 2.3%. It came in at 3%, which is significantly higher. Obviously, 2.3 was the estimate at 3%. We are moving significantly back in the right direction. If you just want to have an idea, if you go through the first administration with Donald Trump, you got as high as 4.8%. This is what we talked about when they talked about the big, beautiful bill of trying to grow your way out of having the $36 trillion in debt that we need to start approaching 4 to 5 to 6% on GDP. If we do so, we'll have more than enough money to start paying down the debt on this country. So this is great news. Great news that we're now moving in the right direction.
Let me show you a picture. Jerome Powell looking for the inflation in the GDP report.
That's funny.
Just confused with his hard hat on at the Federal Reserve building.
If you want to understand like how damaging COVID was, So if you just go back to the GDP numbers from that era, so Q1 2020, as we're getting into the initial part of the shutdown, we're shutting down the American economy. Still one of those asinine, ridiculous things we ever did for a chest cold. Minus 5.5%. By the time we get into quarter two, it's minus 28%. That was the damage that COVID did to the Donald Trump first tenure.
And the thing that should piss you off the most is they knew it. Every bit of it. They knew every bit of what they were doing. That was the plan from the get-go. How do we wreck it?
And now, when you talked about the V-shaped return, quarter three 2020, 35% up. We should never have those numbers. You should basically be living in that area. We've been basically living between basically 2.5%, humming along there. Now, if we can get this, like I said, back in that 4 or 5% range, and we're doing it without the sugar high that was going on in the stock markets, we got something to go along with the tariff policy.
Can you imagine the talking heads, the so-called experts that know nothing, or at least they seem to know nothing because they continually get it wrong? I don't know how you get it wrong the way they do, Los, and keep your job. I don't know.
We talked about it early in the show. The expert class is essentially who will help fill the narrative that the media is already writing. If you want to say things are great, well, then you call around until you talk to somebody who says, no, hey, things are excellent. And then you present that in your 5-minute span on television, and experts say things are great. It's the exact opposite with what they were hoping for. This entire Democrat Party has been hoping for the demise of this country since Donald Trump took over, because it's their only way back in power.
Well, probably prior to that, but that was the accelerant for sure. That was where they poured the gas.
Well, they never wanted. Remember how we redefined what a recession was under Joe Biden?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because they did not want to have that laid at Biden's feet. They would love to have a recession laid at the feet of Donald Trump. They were betting on it, hoping on it, pleading for it.
2 quarters of negative growth, then all of a sudden that wasn't a recession.
No. I know you're used to that definition of recession, but that's not what a recession is any longer. Not in Joe Biden's America.
But can you imagine the span that you're going to see from the talking heads today? I mean, you can count it down. We're on MSNBC right now. They either will, A, not cover this, which seems unlikely with it being the level of news that it is. They will either cover it sparsely or not at all, or they're going to call around, as you described, Los, and find the person that says this is going to be terrible. You know, I know there's an article out there that I want to read and may bring to the show tomorrow, depending on how what's there. This is from New York Times. Trump is winning his trade war, but what does that mean for the economy? They were downplaying it already ahead of it.
They were laying the groundwork.
That's exactly right. They were looking for people to put on, and will be looking for people to put on that'll say this is awful, this is terrible. This is the same people that said the tax revenue was a tax on you. Those are the same experts. So watch it happen. Watch on social media, the Jessica Tarlovs and whomever else. Joey Jones tells me she's the nicest girl he's ever met. Just a great girl, which is okay. When she speaks or she tweets, it comes off as insane. It's over and over again. But they'll find them.
I get what her job is.
Yeah.
That's her job. Her job is to make you crazy, is to rock the boat. It's just when she's using, in my opinion, this alternative way of thinking where you can show her poll after poll after poll, and she goes and will cite the most ridiculous item and go, well, this is why this is happening. It's like, where are you getting your information?
Exactly, man. You're pulling the unicorn. You're pulling the anomaly. You're pulling the but. So good news for you, for the economy, for the United States of America, for the American people, and for Donald Trump and his administration. The medical industry's been able to just completely skirt their responsibilities, but there is a man, Los, that is looking to change that, and he stole your slogan.
I appreciate Make America Healthy Again.
Yeah.
Because I wanted Make America Honest Again.
Please.
But RFK Jr. has much more clout. He had a Super Bowl ad, okay? It's what it is.
That's expensive.
You can have it then.
Yeah.
Fine.
Commandeer it all you want.
Maha is yours. I'll find another moniker to go by.
Mata. Make America truthful again.
Mata. This is why This is why you're Tug Coward.
I know, buddy.
Okay, I'm now Mata. He's Maha. The other guy's MAGA. Whatever. This is what we got going on. Or MAGA. I'm Mata. So RFK Jr. was on with Chris Cuomo and was doing his show. This was the other evening, Monday evening. And RFK Jr., I appreciate this. I've likened this to my dog with socks. All right, she doesn't tear him up. She just doesn't give them back to you. Like, she gets a sock and you're like, I need that back. And she doesn't, not like she will fight you, not like she wants to like hold on to it with her teeth. She's going to run around the house with it.
She wants to chase her.
I want that to be RFK Jr. when it comes to this autism epidemic. I was talking with a friend of mine. She runs an autism school. And do you imagine if you ever told somebody 40 years ago that we'll have autism schools? Because there'll be so many young kids with autism.
No, we wouldn't have believed you.
Because the numbers at one point were, 1 in 10,000? You would never have enough kids for an autism school. The fact that we have autism schools now, to me, that is indicative of the problem that's going on. And so Chris Cuomo brings up the regular talking point, which is, well, I guess we're better at diagnosing it. And this is where I appreciate RFK Jr. Our policies don't always match up. This one, I'm hoping he's a dog with a sock and he's not letting it go.
No, that is nonsense. It is an absurd, industry-driven canard. There's been study after study after study in high gravitas journals by the best research organizations and institutions and universities around this country that shows that the autism epidemic is real. And Chris, it's also just common sense. If it was just a matter of better diagnosis or better recognition, you would see it in older people. The epidemic is taking place in a specific generation, and it's kids who were born after 1989.
That's the part that I'm like, that's my sock and that's my dog. 1989, moving forward, 1 out of every 31 children is our current rate. And as he's pointing out, the explosion happened after this point. What did we do? What was the dietary issue? What was the vaccine schedule?
What was the injection? Yeah.
What was it that has caused this? Because your rate does not jump naturally from 1 in 10,000 just because you observe it better.
I've told this story a million times about my mama not wanting to get me and my sister vaccinated. She told me, we were talking about this the other day, she told me, she was like, I was hearing this stuff because I was born in 77. She was like, I was hearing it prior to you being born. That there was something that just didn't feel right. Parents were concerned with. Like, he gave you a hard number of 89. But I was born in 77, and they were already talking about it. So it must mean something was already bubbling under the surface of people saying, their change is underway, and I don't know if it's formula, the formula they use. I don't know if it's something they put in our food.
The frequency by which they're getting it.
Absolutely, man.
How many they're getting at one time. These are all legitimate discussions.
And she would bring them up, and I got to tell you, man, forever, I've told you this before, I'm embarrassed to say it, forever I dismissed her every time we talked about it.
As I've said this before, and I told this to my friend who runs, again, a school for children with autism. I was like, my kids have had every vaccination. So have I, except COVID. Yeah, my kids. If it's supposed to be something they get, then they've gotten it. But our pediatrician, since they were born, was like, we're not handing out 5 of these in one day. It's like, it's inconvenient for you, but we space these all out. And, well, why do you do that? Well, just so we can observe what happens. I think pediatricians have a pretty decent idea of what's going on here, because you go back to 1970, the rate was 1 in 10,000 of children with autism.
And I believe those pediatricians are handcuffed. They know what they have to do to continue to practice. They know what the things that the government's going to say no, that they have them under their thumb. I'm not saying that all pediatricians are great, because I'm sure they're not. I'm sure some of them are in it for the money. But I do believe most care about children. But at the same time, they know what they have to do, and they know how they have to behave in order to keep their license.
As we got into the 1980s, the number jumped to 1 in 2,000. So now we're at 1 in, depending on the numbers, 1 in every 44, 1 in every 31.
God, dude.
There's something there. I'm glad that I don't think we're ever going to have like our drug ads taken off the air. Like this morning, we were joking around about how many ads for medication we were watching. At the time, it was on Fox. Now we're on MSNBC, and I don't think they have quite as much. Like right now, they're doing a thing for doggy pads in Starbucks. Like it's a different kind of deal. But I don't believe we're going to be one of those countries that pulls all of our ads off the air. There's too much, and I'm sure they can lobby extremely hard. But we're already seeing like some of the harmful dyes out of the food, some more natural food that's being in there, having to label things properly. If we can start having that conversation of what's causing the autism in this country at this extreme rate, okay, that's like the next one. Like that's that's Mount Everest.
No, it is.
To me.
And if you can just chisel away, right? Just keep chipping away.
Step at a time.
Step at a time. And everything that you want to do and that's worth doing takes time to accomplish. This is no different.
I mean, a week and a half ago, this group, along with like Dr. Marty Makary, got the COVID shot off of the child vaccine schedule. They don't need it. That was just a way for the industry to make money. And they're like, we're pulling it. It's not on the schedule any longer.
And the only people up in arms?
Yeah, well,
the pharmaceutical companies, the lobbies.
Yeah.
And then there was a handful of crazies.
Well, you're welcome to go get it.
Yeah.
It's just
not required.
It's not required for you to go to school.
But do you remember the back, at least on social media, the talking heads of the people that were like, well, I just don't know. I'm not sure he's making it. Dude, do whatever you want to do, but don't make everybody else follow your way of thinking.
You're like me. You're welcome to do whatever you want to do. When there was the whole moniker, we're all in this together. No, we're not. And you know how I know we're not? Because I changed my diet back in like 2019, 2020. I didn't worry one bit about anything. Meanwhile, you were waiting for a shot because you couldn't stop eating. We're not in this together.
But obese is beautiful.
Yes.
That's what I've been told for the better part of 5 years.
We're breaking that thing down a little differently now.
That's right.
We're breaking that thing down a little differently now.
Sydney Sweeney.
Hot is back.
Yeah, dude. Why did it take so long?
How in this country can I say this and it both be ridiculous and legitimate? Boobs have made a comeback. They never should have gone away.
Why would they have?
What were we doing? What happened, America?
We made mistakes. We fell into a horrible trap.
What did you do?
Gotcha. Horrible trap.
Something that is classic should never go away.
No, that's right. And
it should never have to come back.
Here's the other thing. Did you notice, though, it wasn't fat dudes that were being used in modeling ads? It was only fat women or obese women?
It would be guys that were clearly heavy, but with very large women. Like there's a Calvin Klein ad where the guy,
big dudes, because I don't remember that.
The guy is he's robust. I'd say this. Okay, he's fat by all normal standards, but he ain't her fat.
Oh wow!
Let me see if I can
look
find
it up,
that.
Because I don't remember. That was one, and how many ads get put out a day or a month or a year? So they did one. They knew women weren't going to buy into fat dudes. Come on, get out of here. They tried to tell you that the dad bod was the way to go. What in the world is that?
I told you.
Is that man wearing a brassiere?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, so that was the reason, not because he was big. They're doing it to say he's a better woman than a woman.
Now, if you go back to the 90s, who's this over here?
That's Mark Wahlberg, right?
Mark Wahlberg. Yeah. Look how far we drifted in 30 years.
But it's one ad, though, right? I mean, the rest of them, there were very few heavy, robust men, and especially one wearing a sports bra.
I'm sorry I made you see that. So there's things poor Tug will not be able to unsee. Like right now,
and that's one of them.
He's gonna turn off that microphone and he's gonna ask Jesus to cleanse his brain.
Please do. I pray for it all the time.
Maybe check out an American Eagle ad.
Yes, that'd probably help me out.
Nice little palate cleanser.
then I'll be lustful. I have to ask Jesus for forgiveness again. When we continue on Extra 106.3, there are worse things than a bad report card as we get ready to send the youngins back to school. Next on Extra 106.3.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Wednesday, July 30th. The Atlanta Braves lost last night 9-6 to the Kansas City Royals in KC, but more concerning was the injury to All-Star Ronald Acuna Jr. He is headed to the injured list with right Achilles tightness after leaving the game and exiting the stadium in a boot. Acuna will be reevaluated today. As for the rubber match, that is going to be a first pitch set for 2:10. You can hear that game on our sister station's brand new app, 680 The Fan. From the NFL, the shooter that targeted the league headquarters on Monday claimed to have CTE. 4 people, including an off-duty officer, were killed in that attack. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
The summer's got you thinking about hitting the road. And with back to school right around the corner, you need a vehicle built for the road and safe enough for the family. And Subaru of Gwinnett has it for you. Like the 2025 Subaru Outback, which will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive, plus up to 32 miles per gallon. And if you're up for adventure, it'll get you off the beaten path with up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance, more than the Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4. Or the 2025 Subaru Forester, the SUV for all you love. It's the right-sized SUV for all the adventures ahead, with a spacious and comfortable interior for everyone you want to bring along. And no matter where adventure takes you, it starts on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth with the amazing staff at Subaru of Gwinnett. They'll help you find the Subaru that you'll love and be there every step of the way for everything you need. Start your shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com.
Military veterans are eager to transfer their skills and experiences to civilian life, but lack trusted connections to expedite their path to success. That is, until they meet the Warrior Alliance. The Warrior Alliance goes the extra mile to reach veterans in their communities so they do not have to take this journey alone. With over 40 partners across 10 service areas, your donation goes a long way toward achieving maximum impact for a veteran and their family. Go to thewarrioralliance.org to donate today and commit to helping the Warrior Alliance change thousands of lives for the better.
This is House Call for Health. A study suggests Americans can stay sharper and healthier in their later years by exercising and eating better. Initial research findings published earlier this week show older Americans who followed healthier eating habits and exercised their bodies and minds scored as if they were a year or two younger on brain tests. Geriatrics professor Laura Baker led the study, consisting of 2,100 participants between ages 60 and 79. Study participants were split into 2 groups. One group was tasked with exercising daily and playing brain games, as well as socializing regularly, and even got help from coaches. Meantime, the other was given brain-healthy advice with little coaching. Researchers are now examining brain scans and blood tests from participants to see if there was any reduction in Alzheimer's-related protein buildup during the study. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Saving you money, I'm Hillary Barsky. Canceled or delayed flights can cost travelers a lot of dough, and getting an airline to pay you back for expenses isn't impossible, but it involves a lot of work. Airline passengers have very few rights, according to Paul Hudson, president of Flyers Rights. Customers are entitled to a refund if a flight is canceled for any reason or significantly delayed, and they opt not to travel, according to the Transportation Department. This policy extends to non-refundable tickets, but the DOT makes that determination on a case-by-case basis. While airlines are required to provide refunds in these circumstances if requested, they aren't barred from offering other ways to correct the situation, and often offer a passenger the opportunity to rebook on another flight or a voucher or credit for future travel. In these situations, customers will need to speak with an airline representative and ask for an involuntary refund. And not all customer service reps will be familiar with this term, but Hudson says it could be magic words for a quick refund. Saving you money, Hillary Barsky, Fox News.
I'm Chad Pergram with the Speaker's Lobby. Senate Republicans had to bring Vice President Vance to the Capitol recently to break 2 ties on procedural votes to begin debate on the bill to cut money for public broadcasting and USAID. Republicans have a 53-47 advantage in the Senate, but former Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, along with Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins of Maine, voted nay. That produced a 50-50 tie. Fox is told that some Senate Republicans are tiring of McConnell opposing the GOP and President Trump on various issues. Quote, "He used to be the leader. He was always telling telling us we need to stick together, said one GOP senator who requested anonymity. Now he's off voting however he wants. How time flies. Note that McConnell led Senate Republicans as recently as early January, but McConnell ultimately voted for the legislation when the Senate approved it 51-48, despite his votes to break the procedural hurdles. Murkowski and Collins were the only no's. The services of Vice President Vance weren't needed due to McConnell's aye vote and the absence of Democratic Minnesota Senator Tina Smith. With the Speaker's Lobby, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
From the latest breaking news to the conservative voices you know and trust, your best new follow on social media is Extra 1063. We're at XTRA 1063 on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn, and pretty much any social media you scroll through every day. And we drop exclusive giveaways, new daily content, and the latest breaking news from Georgia and across this great nation. Interact with your favorite Extra personalities. Get the latest on our live events and so much more. Follow at Extra 1063 across all your social media and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice.
Tug and Los until 10. Getting ready to turn this thing over to the Glenn Beck program after that. Biggest show in all of conservative media, Clay and Buck, noon to 3, and then the local afternoon show with the Kimmer. Pete and Flounder, the Kimmer Show, only on Extra 1063. There are worse things in the world than a bad report card. Getting ready to send the kids back to school. Cobb goes back on the 4th of August. Marietta City the 1st. Paulding County the 1st. Cherokee the 1st. Forsyth the 5th. And Monday the 4th for Fulton County schools. You're bound to get a bad report card. There's going to be a bad grade that comes through there, but you have to handle everything in stride. You can't react violently. You can't ground the kid forever. It has to be measured. There has to be some encouragement in there.
I don't know what you mean, Tug. We get bees in the house and we cancel Christmas.
Wowzers.
That's why we don't have bees in our house.
Woo! Yeah.
You would have had no Christmas, huh?
Yeah, never. They would cancel Christmas permanently. If I got a D, man, my parents are setting off fireworks. They're like, this is the greatest day ever. He didn't fail. This is great.
I felt like Tug was talking to somebody like himself in that, like to his past parents. All right, listen, if he brings a bad report card, you're not going to ground him. You're not going to take his bike away.
Yeah, it's fine.
You're like, it's going to be okay.
We're going to bounce back.
He's going to turn. He's a good kid.
And he always did. And rare, he takes after my wife, who was finished like second in her class in high school and then in college too. Just really smart. Man, I'm convinced that my English teacher passed me because if we don't send him on his way, he's never getting out of here.
Never leaving here.
I
want to see you again. Go on.
Yeah, and they liked me. I was a good kid. I'd stand up in front of the school, in front of the class, doing just keeping everybody laughing, keeping the teachers laughing. So they felt bad.
You want me to smile at you? I'll smile at you.
They felt bad for failing me. So I'm telling you, this is the way it went in my house. My poor parents.
Poor Tug with his top hat.
Yes, that's right. Hello, my honey. Hello, my darling.
Are they laughing? Are they laughing?
Yeah, keep them going. I want you to hear this kid who has figured it out that a bad report card isn't the end of the world.
When I got home from work yesterday, I was passing my teenage son's bedroom, and the bedroom looked amazing. His bed was made, everything was picked up. Well, then I seen a letter on his pillow, and I got closer to it, and it said, Mom. Well, my hands were just shaking, and my son wasn't home, and I was like, well, I wasn't sure what to expect. So I opened the letter, and here's what it said. Dear Mom, it is with great regret and sorrow that I'm writing you. Tiffany and I decided to elope. She is so nice, and I just love her tight clothes and motorcycle and her piercings. But that's not the only reason I ran away. She's pregnant. Tiffany assures me that we will be so happy together. She already owns a trailer on the south side of town. She has enough firewood for the whole winter. We share a dream of having even more children. She's also convinced me that smoking pot has never really hurt anyone. So we're growing some for ourselves and to trade with other people in the trailer park. Don't worry, Mom. I'm 15 and I know how to take care of myself. We'll be back to visit soon so you can get to know all of your new grandchildren. P.S. Mom, none of the above is true. I'm over at Carl's house, and I just wanted to remind you that there are things worse in life than a bad report card. Mine is on the kitchen table. Call me when it is safe to come home.
Genius. Absolute genius. is what that is.
It's pretty wonderful.
Dude, 15-year-old kids are very, very creative.
Sound like a country song.
I know it did. Absolutely right. Read it backwards, you get all that stuff back. There's a song called Rewind by Rascal Flatts, and it's about playing a country song backwards. You get your house back, you get your wife back, get the kids back. You've never been to jail. No.
That's funny.
No, yeah. I love that. And you have to keep, some sort of perspective. Kids going back to school really, really soon. They're kids, man.
In the big scheme of things.
They're not going to get it right every time.
When my oldest daughter was in first grade, this was our year of the lemon. The teacher who she ended up as a first grade teacher. She should have never been a first grade teacher. And every day, my daughter would come home with red on her card. And my wife is like, is she a demon? Like, is she biting kids? Like, what is happening in here? And she would go and get ready to scold her. And I would tell her all the time, she's probably just talking. And now, I kind of knew what that was like because I had nothing but N's and U's in conduct. Like, I had all A's, but N's and U's only in conduct. Like, look, okay, Tug, I have this on my phone to show it. So that's the report card, right? Yep. Over the course of the year. Mm-hmm. How many N's and U's do you see there for conduct?
I only see N's.
Yes, needs improvement, all of it, all the time. And so when my wife finally met the teacher, and I met the teacher, it's at Donuts with Dad, and the girl who sits next to my daughter, I was like, hey, how are you doing, sweetie? And she didn't say a word. Her mom goes, oh, sorry, she doesn't really talk a lot. And she was the best kid in the class because if you said anything in the class, you would get a red mark.
Oh, no.
And so that was the moment where my wife was like, oh, we just have that teacher this year. And my daughter has never had a disciplinary issue ever since then.
Yeah, some people are not cut out for it.
Some are not cut out for first grade or whatever grade. So if you happen to get a bad conduct grade, it's okay. Doesn't mean they're going to turn into Satan.
Miss Maples was my first grade teacher. She hated my guts, dude. I'm telling you.
It's all your dances.
I had red marks, some of that. I remember Mama going in and having a conference, and Mama's very, very easygoing. She came out of there guns a-blazing. Miss Maples was, she was not cut out to be a first grade teacher, same way.
God bless good teachers.
Yeah, no kidding.
Keep in mind, Tug, this is a different report card. Do you see a bunch of N's?
That's all I see.
That's all there is.
Moved to fourth grade. Mama had figured out that Miss Deloach didn't care for Old Tug Coward either.
How do you have your old report cards just immediately available on your phone?
So my mom kept all of them. And so Thanksgiving, like 3 or 4 years ago, I took the pictures. And so they've sat on my phone just for when my wife ever goes into one of her, like, if one of the kids gets in trouble.
Remember this.
I just pull up all A's and all bad conduct grades.
Front Office Lowe's has the receipts.
All A's, all bad conduct grades. In fact, most of the time, I had it for can't control talking.
Yeah, I had that one too.
Surprise, Tug. Look where we ended up.
I know. I did. My mama brought over, because she moved a couple years ago to Loganville, and she'd found during the move one of my report cards. The grades were not, like Los's was showing, I mean, they were all good grades. Mine were just barely hanging on, and N's and U's.
Exercises self-control, N's. Controls talking,
needs
N's. Exercise, yeah, they're all in exercise self-control and controls talking.
Mine were that, plus bad grades.
I remember my mom having arguments with school administrators. They're like, do you realize why this is happening? It's because he's bored. Like, put him in another class. Sure enough, put me in other higher end classes and totally fine.
They knew it wasn't higher end classes for me. They were like, maybe he needs some remedial classes. I think maybe we need to help him out a little bit.
Let's send him down the hall.
Yeah, let's actually, you know what? He should not have.
There's some coloring books here.
Yeah, he shouldn't have. They shouldn't have advanced him.
Are you interested in woodshop, son?
He's going to cut his hand off. Don't put him in there. Terrible idea. That'll do it for us, for Dre and Front Office Los. I'm Tug. Y'all come back now here.
Live and local news talk continues at 3 p.m. with Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. It's the Kimmer Show, only on Xtra 106.3 and the Xtra app.